Hi, Saturnina. Welcome. Thanks for coming back. Rosemary, welcome. You even beat Mike. You're early. Rosemary and Saturnina and Kathleen. Welcome. Okay, on the chat, can you put down where you're from, please? And then tell me if it's your first time also, or how many times you have been. That would really help me out. So I started it. I said, I'm from Lapu-Lapu, Cebu, and I'm the host of this until Mike gets in, and I will make him my co-host. So yeah, tell me where you're from. I know you told me before, but I don't remember. Some of you did. Should have more. Oh, we're early. We're 10 minutes early. No wonder we don't have very many people yet. So that's good. I get to talk to you guys before the others come in. Rosemary, you have been on my list a long time. Tell me what you're doing now.
Hello, Doc. Good evening. Good
Hi,
evening, teacher.
I miss seeing you. That's good that you came back.
Thank you so much, Doc. I have been busy for a while, for a couple of months because of some responsibilities in school, and then I've been working for an ESL teacher, so that's why I'm busy for a while.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
I missed some of the Zoom meetings here, so I apologize for that.
Oh, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to YouTube and catch them up because I put everything on YouTube now on our channel. Have you seen our
Yes, but
channel? Yeah.
yes, Doc. I've been following your posts, and as well as the recorded Zoom meeting. I I also watch those recorded meetings.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
That's good
yes,
that you're
yes.
you're caught up with what's going on. That's cool. That's awesome. Rosemary, where are you from again?
I'm from Philippines, and here in
Pinky and
Davao
Celeste.
City.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah. You're still in the Philippines. What part? What
Davao
part?
City.
Where?
Davao City.
Davao City. Oh, Bisaya de ka day. Yeah, because
Davao.
yeah, I'm from Cebu.
Yes
So
po, Bisaya kayo.
Bisaya, yeah, everybody, do you mind getting into chat and tell me where you are from in the Philippines? And if it is your first time, let me know also. I think Celeste, this is your first time, or Celeste, do you go with Celeste? Polar?
Yeah, Celeste.
Thank you,
It's my
Doc.
first time
Yeah.
here. Yes.
All right. Like, can you put down where you are from, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. Wait.
I'd like to see who are the Bisayan and who are the Tagalog here.
Yeah, I'm from Laguna.
Laguna. Okay. So Laguna and Pinky, I don't think I even knew. Were you
Hi,
Tagalog?
Doc. Good
Hi.
evening.
Hi. You Tagalog or Bisayan?
Me, Doc.
Uh-huh.
Bisaya, Doc, from Negros Oriental.
Negros. Okay. Yeah. Did you know Christine Quezon? She's from
Um,
Negros. Okay.
no.
Yeah, she's here now. So Celeste just put Laguna, but everybody else did not put one in yet. So go to your chat and put where you are, please. And you're new. You're the first ones because the others still have about 7 more minutes. So the early birds get the worm. So Pinky, while we're waiting on the others, do you have any question for me?
Regarding our I have already uploaded my membership, doc. I joined AFTA just like Sir Joel Tiamson.
Mhm.
The AFTA I have uploaded that already.
Explain to others what you're doing, Pinky. Explain to everyone what you're doing, if you don't mind.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. I am Pinky, and I was hired with West Memphis just last month, Doc. It was last month, January 30. Thank you, Doc, for your help and assistance. So right now, me and the whole team, we are 13, Doc, from the Philippines. No, we are 13 from the Philippines. We are now gathering our documents, uploading our documents for the verification and I-129, our license in the Philippines and license in the United States. I got my license from Maryland. It's only $20.
Okay.
$10 for Spantran and $10 for the Maryland Educator Certificate.
Yeah, I think those I recommend those Maryland, Illinois, or New Mexico. If you don't have that, go to their there's Australia. Go to their website. For example, Maryland Department of Education, and you go to Illinois Department of Education or New Mexico Department of Education, and then look under licensure, and it will tell you step by step on how to do it, and it's all online. So those are the three states that you can get your license reciprocity about using your Philippine license. So it would really give you an edge then, because when you apply at schools, you can say, I already have a license from this one of the states. So I would recommend that. And with the West Memphis bunch, they are gonna be H-1B, which means it's a path to green card. So this that's harder, and they really need to see that they are licensed. So that's why I recommended that you need to go ahead and get your license. I don't care which of the three, but go ahead and get one so that we have something to show that although because Arkansas license is not even given until you get here. You can start processing some things like your TOEFL, you can already get it, but the actual license itself, they won't release it unless you are here in person. So there's some states that are like that, and Arkansas is one of them. Well, I'm seeing a lot of my West Memphis bunch. Thank you, Erwin. I see Erwin. And
Mom Giselle is also
Giselle-
here, Doc. Congrats, Mom
Giselle.
Giselle, for passing the
Yes,
TOEFL.
to pass the TOEFL, and TOEFL is really hard to pass.
Oh,
You know, I know of some people that took TOEFL like 5 or 6 times, and it's not cheap. It's like what, $200. And Giselle, don't forget to save your receipt, because you should be able to get reimbursed, because I already put that on the list, that's one of the reimbursement. And Maria Lovely. So a bunch of the 13 folks are here. So maybe you can share your experience about what to gather, so the others can know that when they get hired, they may need to get paperwork ahead of time. So Giselle, do you want to come on and tell the others of what kind of paperwork they may be able to get ahead of time?
Hello, Doc. Can you hear me, Doc?
Yes, I can hear you. I'll just
Hello?
take it. Yes.
Okay, Doc. I'm going to open my camera because I was walking. I came from away because one of our relatives died, Doc.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry.
we had to have our thank you, Doc. So, hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Giselle. I was of the 13 folks who were hired in the emergency. First of all, I could not be hired is not because of Dr. Merlina. For those who doesn't know me, I am here in the Zoom for already a year, almost a year and a half. And thanks to Dr. Merlina, I was hired. I was discouraged already because I've been applying for a year, but then nobody did hired me. But Dr. Merlina opened West Memphis, that's why I am one of the hire. I'm very thankful to Dr. Merlina because he did everything for us to be hired.
What?
Oh,
No, you did that, guys. I just opened the door and you came in and then you were on your own. So you did that. Don't give me credit for that. You did a good job on the interview. And this is the one school that I was really excited about because they actually invited me to be on the interview panel. So I hope that I did not make them nervous. They said it didn't. So it was nice experience. And so I think most of the schools that are hiring, that will be hiring, I will be recommending that I need to be in the panel if they want me to. And also I want them to do H1B instead of J1. And for those that knew the difference between J1 and H1B, can you tell us the difference? Anybody?
I can.
Okay, go ahead, Celeste.
Yeah, I'm actually a former J1 teacher from the state of Arizona. I'm
Okay.
currently here in the Philippines serving my 2-year home rule.
Okay.
So between the J1, so as I've mentioned, J1, you really have to go back to the Philippines if you didn't apply for your waiver. But the H1, you have the opportunity to continue, get a green card, and to be a citizen in the US.
Yeah. So H1B is better. And the nice thing about H1B is the school will pay for it. So it really pretty much doesn't cost you anything unless you're bringing your family and then the school would not pay for that. You have to pay for it. So did you do 5 years, Celeste, or did you do 3 years?
Yes, I did a 5 years. I
5
finished the
years. So you were
program in
able to
5 years.
extend it then from 3 years, you extended it to 5 years, and then you have to come back here for 2 years.
Even though I have my US citizen child, still it's too hard to file for the hardship waiver.
Really?
But yeah, we still have to go back to the Philippines.
So you did try the waiver, the I-612, and it got denied?
Oh, actually,
oh,
I didn't because I don't have enough time. I just applied for the tourist visa, the B1 visa, just for me to be able to give birth my son in the US. I'm supposed to leave the US by end of my program by June, but my due date will be on August, and I'm on my advanced maternal pregnancy. So my doctor advised me to that I cannot travel that long, which is 13 to 14 hours travel back to the Philippines. So they
Mhm.
recommend for me to stay. So that's why I applied for my tourist. And then I don't have enough time to process the waiver since I'm on my terminal uh, of the program. I mean, my program is about to end.
But I think
And
go ahead.
yes,
And you know what?
yes, and yeah, I actually consult an attorney, and he said that it would take like, because of the processing period right now, it would take like 2 years just to process for the waiver
Is
of
there
having
a premium processing on it? I don't know. Some of them have premium processing where you pay an extra 2,500 and then it will go like within 2 weeks, you'll know. Is that one of them that has premium processing or you don't know?
um he didn't mention about that. My lawyer is attorney Nicolas Caraquel, but he mentioned, and based on the experiences of my other colleagues, which also has a U.S. citizen child, it took them like a year, but then they chose to stay in the U.S. Hoping that they could get a waiver,
Mm-hmm.
but still but still they have to go back to the Philippines. It's
Oh, there they
so
were still on.
hard.
Huh.
Yeah. They even spent like $20,000,
Oh my
for
gosh.
the process, but still, yeah, but still they didn't, even get that process.
Well, I wonder what paperwork they sent because my brother-in-law works for immigration, and I was asking him what are the possible things that you could use, and he said, "Well, if you have a child, and then you need to write a letter. The parents have to write a letter saying that what are the things that could be different if your child is in the Philippines and here, a different child care, different, the health things and so on, even food." Will be different and so on. So you can write that as a parent and that would be one of your evidence too, that
Um,
did they do that?
Oh no, I actually have a colleague who has a 3-year-old son. They
Mm-hmm.
tried to defend that. I think the USCIS required them for the RFE, but right now, the ones that has a medical conditions are the only ones that mostly being granted for the waiver.
Really?
But if it is only But if it is only, being the child, not to adopt with the culture of the Philippines when he gets back here, no, they really don't buy that reason unless it is connected to medical.
Yeah. How about other reasons such as political? Like if you are afraid to go back because of the political situation in your place, is that possible? Are there some paperwork that you could prove that there might be some unrest or whatever? Because usually in the State Department they usually have a warning about travel to the Philippines because it's dangerous.
Mm.
So I wonder if you could do something like that.
I haven't heard that reason. I haven't heard any case that they filed that reason.
That would be something that somebody need to try.
Uh-huh, yeah.
But no,
But
not.
it really means a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know what gets a lot of money is when you start hiring lawyers because they're the ones that charging
Yeah.
you. But if you do it
Mm-hmm.
yourself, there's not gonna be any difference they can do. They help you with reading the papers, and you can do that as a teacher. So it's really not gonna make a difference if you just like follow instructions. You know what form you're gonna do. Like the schools that are hiring me, they they are just doing it by following directions. They didn't have to hire a lawyer because a lawyer would have charged them about between $3,000 to $5,000 per person. So in the case of West Memphis times 13, that would have been at least $65,000. That would be a lot. So because they're already going to be spending about 90 for the visa fees and the premium processing and the fare. So to spend another 60 some thousand, that's going to discourage them from doing it. And that's why, if you can read, and this is my brother-in-law said, if they can read directions and follow the instructions, there's not any need for a lawyer unless you have a very complicated case. Then you might need a lawyer. But if it's just a simple case, you don't need a lawyer. At least that's my opinion. But anyway,
Yeah.
but that's my humble opinion and
Mm-hmm.
from experience that we were able to just follow directions and because the directions really tell you exactly, and then so for the evidence you just have to read what they're needing there, and so you put it there. Things like for the waiver, I was told you can even do like some letters from students saying that they really love you and that they really want you to be in, you'd like you to be their teacher, and then even from parents and evidence from your colleagues and your supervisors. Letters like that are strong. So to show that you are really needed here, and if your superintendent would even write a letter, saying something about there is a shortage in America, especially in their state, and that they really need to hire teachers like, international teachers like the Filipinos. And so something like that, I think that should be considered. I don't know, because I was brainstorming with my brother-in-law. What are the things that could be there? Newspaper articles, research things about, where the shortage is, there's a lot of newspaper articles and things like that about the shortage of teachers in America. And anyway, so interest waiver should apply through to both medical, like nurses and doctors, as well as teachers. I feel strongly about that. So I think they just did not have enough evidence to do it.
Actually, we tried that one, the last one that you've mentioned, connecting with to the politicians.
Uh-huh.
Actually, our district, the congressman, even the senators, I think even went up to the senator to write to the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then they replied that we have to follow what is on the rule, that really have to go back to the
Wow.
Philippines.
Well,
You really have to go back to the home country.
wow.
Yeah, actually our district is very helpful. They really want us because we are like 13 Filipino teachers who left the district. So you know how hard it is for them to to lose that a lot of teachers, and they really invested a lot for us, for the PDs, for the trainings, but they can't do anything about it. It's
Wow.
already the Department of Education in the USCIS that said that no, unless they don't have a reason or a waiver to stay. But yeah,
But
they really have to go back to their home country.
But I don't think it's the U.S. Department of Education. I think it's the USCIS that did that. But USCIS, you have to remember that they have every officer has the power to say yes or no. Even my
Hmm.
brother-in-law, who is a supervisor, he cannot overrule anything. It is from individual to individual as the officer. So you may have some really strict ones in Arizona. I wonder,
I think
because
so.
there's so many of you, huh?
I think so. Yeah.
You must have. I don't know about Arkansas yet. Whoever's gonna look at our stuff here from Arkansas, that would be worth looking into because we have one of our teachers here had her baby here. So that would be our first one that, I think I'm gonna help her see what we can do about that. We're gonna gather as much paperwork as we can do, in
That's
order to make
awesome.
it, yeah, full of evidence. And then I will update you guys and see what happens. It's just worth a try, but I don't think she should spend 20,000 like that other couple did. As a lot, as more than 1,000,000 pesos. And
Yes.
so, and I think most of that went to the lawyers. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yes.
And that's when you get a lot of money spent is when you start hiring lawyers. I mean, I respect lawyers, but in this case, you can read the directions and maybe not have to have them unless your case is just so complicated that you really need them. That's what I believe. That's just me. I don't want lawyers to hate me, but
I agree with you.
yeah, but that's just my opinion, my personal opinion. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you. That was a good conversation about the waiver. That's the I-612. That is whenever if you have been in J1 visa and then you got your 5 years in, which is the limit, and you have to go back 2 years, and to your native country and to supposedly to share what you've learned. And that's why I'm pushing for H1B visa for all the new schools that are asking me for help to hire international teachers. I am asking them to do H1B because the difference of the expenses is maybe less than $500. So it's really, really close. And the only thing is that some schools just would not want to commit the sponsorship part of it. But if you have a school that's really, really brave and want to commit, especially if they say, I will help you. Like I would always say, I can help you. I have done so many of these. I can help you. And I don't charge the Filipinos, but I do charge a school whenever they ask me to come physically. But when they email me, they do whatever. I don't charge them, because I just want to help Filipinos come here. That's my payback because I was here and, I've been here 37 years and I got my education here. So I retired in 2016. I decided this is my passion. I want to help other Filipinos to be able to come here and help also the superintendents here because I have so many superintendent friends in Arkansas because I worked at the Department of Education and we were all over the state. So I knew a lot of them and they were reaching out to me and saying, Merlina, can you please help us with this? And by the time they get one, they usually have someone in that school or the district that would be, that would be my partner, for example. And the next time they do it, they don't even need me because we have the step-by-step thing by then. Keep up. I always tell them, keep up with the paperwork so that if you do it again, you should be able to do it by yourself. So feel free to reach out if you need to do that. So it looks like Mike is not showing up. Giselle, do you want to be my co-host? I do not see Mike. He may be going somewhere. Let me find you. Okay, Giselle. Make host. Okay, Giselle, I'm gonna make you host so that way you can let everybody in, okay? And I did ask everybody to put down, oh, Diana, you're here, I see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening there. To put where you are from in the chat, because I would like to see who are the Cebuano and who are the Tagalogs here and or other languages. We only have 23. I know we'll have more. But anyway, that's good though. We have small number, that way we can have more opportunity for you to talk. The West Memphis branch, we need to talk again at the end, okay? Because I need to be talking to you about other things today. So thank you for coming. So did we see anybody new here, Giselle? I would like to get to know them. Looks like Friday is new.
Yes, Doc, we have a lot.
A lot, okay. So Giselle can help me call. And Girly, you can help if you want.
I think, yes,
Joel.
Friday.
Friday, yeah. Friday, can you come on and tell us about yourself? It's just something that's professional, like your name, your experience, number, what your degree was, and why do you want to come to the US? And if you can involve what you're teaching philosophy, what do you believe about teaching? That would also help. And when you do this, it's an interview practice because that's usually the first question they will ask you. Celeste, is that the first question they ask you when you first came here?
Yeah, actually, why are you interested to teach in the US?
Really? That's what the first question. Okay.
Yes.
That's why, yeah, when you're being asked to interview, to introduce yourself, go ahead and include that because that is a question that they want to know. So what did you say, Celeste, before I get Friday on? What did you say that why you want to come?
Oh, I said that I want to explore more about teaching. I want to learn the culture of the US and be able to share it with my home country because you really want to prove them that you are engaged with being a J1.
Right, right. But you don't want to say because it's more money. I mean, the money
Yes,
is,
I know, right?
yeah, yeah.
Don't ever say that.
Well, yeah, yeah. If you have to say that, do it at the end or something.
But
But
that's the
not,
truth, right? But yeah, don't ever say that.
yeah, that should not be the main thing. It should be about being, professional growth, personal growth, and about what you can do. We can do with students and what they can teach you as well. Because we don't have all the knowledge, kids can also teach us. But to show that you are a learner, that's a good thing to do. Okay, Friday, you ready? I gave you a little time. That was my wait time. And Friday, there's just like in the classroom, I never force my students. So I would never force you. If you're not ready, just let me know and we will go to somebody else. In my classroom, I always say, call a friend, call a friend to help you. Friday, what do you want to do?
Hi, Doc. Good evening. This is Friday Lapore.
Yes.
Good evening to all.
Good evening. Good morning here.
Doc, I'm sorry. Good morning. Good morning, Doc Merlina. I'm from Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines. I'm a Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in SPED. I'm currently teaching in a special school here in Bacolod City. And I really wanted to go to the US, but my friend told me that you have to have at least 2 years of experience teaching before you can go here to the US.
Yes. How many
And I
years do you have?
respect that.
How many years
That's
do
why
you
I'm
have?
here, Doc.
Huh?
Yes, Doc.
This is your first year?
Wait, no, Doc.
How many years of experience do you have?
Actually, I just started working, Doc.
Okay. So hopefully you continue to attend this and learn a lot. So by the time you get your 2 years, then you'll be ready. You'll know how to answer
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
Yes,
feel
Doc.
free to. And if you cannot attend, I always post the recording on YouTube. So, and I always send you the
Yes,
link.
Doc.
So yeah, do that because a lot of the things that are happening here, you might learn from, I think.
Yes, Doc.
So thank you for
Thank you,
coming
Doc.
on. Yeah, you're starting
Yeah.
early. That's cool. Yeah, so don't forget to remind me later that you have to 2 years in. Then you can send me your resume. I always want your resume and cover letter, and just send it to my you see my name and last name there. So you go mcculloughmerlina@gmail.com. So you can see the
Yes,
spelling
Doc.
right
Thank
there
you.
on the bottom of my page of my screen. Yeah, so mcculloughmerlina@gmail.com, and I just need your resume and cover letter. That's all. And I
Thank
usually
you
send
so
you
much,
more
Doc.
information when I get it. So thank you for coming on. Who else is next? Giselle? Friday, by the way, you are very fluent in
I think
your
April Lloyd,
language. That's good.
April Lloyd Mangaro.
Okay. Let's see.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Hello, Doc.
Yes. How are you? Yes, April Lloyd. April Lloyd, is that your name?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Because in America, April is usually a female, so that's why I'm confused. So, okay.
Yes.
You got creative parents.
Oh, by the way, yes, because I was born on April 6th also. So that's the reason why.
Okay. Got it.
By the way, by the way, by the way, Doc, I'm the good friend of one of your um interviews last time. It was Miss Gloria Feber-Salas who actually messaged you. Yes. I'm
Yeah.
actually yes, here in Hanoi, Vietnam, but I was born and raised in like Cebu City, Philippines.
I'm from Cebu,
Yes,
yeah. Okay. Hanoi, Vietnam. How long have you been there?
I've been here for 2 years already.
Okay. So you definitely are qualified now to come to the US, it looks like.
Thank you very much. But
Yeah.
should I start
Yes,
introducing
go ahead.
myself
Go
formally?
ahead. Mhm.
Okay. So by the way, I am April Lloyd Mangaro. I am 28 years old and I graduated from Cebu Normal University with honors. And I have 8 years of experience, both public, private, and for international classes here in Vietnam. Way back in the Philippines, I had 5 years teaching experience in Department of Education and an experience in private school. As of the moment, I am currently teaching multi-grade levels 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, following Cambridge curriculum. And I'm focusing on biology and chemistry.
Okay. Very good. I don't think there's much correction that I can give you. The only thing that you may want to skip is your age. You don't want to have
Okay.
a age bias, and that's not really something they would ask you anyway, because you have people that might, that would prefer older or prefer younger. They set some biases in their head. You don't want to give them that tool, because that is something that you don't have to tell them. Okay, so you can skip the age if you want. And then when you say something about dip ed, we don't, the Department of Education here is actually like a different build, like a different entity, like an organization that's in the Little Rock, like in the capital, and I work there, and that's actually a building. So when you work at dep ed, that doesn't mean in America that you work at the public school. That means we actually work in a building where we were going to schools, like supervising schools. But in dep ed, we always say dep ed there when you mean public school. So instead of saying dep ed, you might want to say 5 years in public school. And that way it's clearer, because they're going to think that if you say that, they're going to think that you were out of the classroom and was in 5 years, in a Department of Education building. And so that's going to make some confusion there. So I would rather have you say in public school. Okay,
Yes,
that's no big deal. They might
yes.
ask for clarification, but I don't want them to X you off just because they think you're out of the classroom already. So because that's what I did. I did my teaching so many years, 15 years, and I did my other, my administration for about that some number of years. And then after that, I worked for the Department of Ed. And then I was out of the classroom. So I was more of the state level leader. So I was actually going to school. I was in the professional development unit. So we were developing training, and then we trained all over the state. So we trained a literacy specialist that would train teachers in the co-op. So we were training the trainers. And so that's totally different than what we say in the Philippines. I work for the dep ed. Okay, so just a clarification, because you're going to confuse them, because every 50 states in the United States have a Department of Ed. So that's going to be their understanding of dep ed, is somebody that are not in the classroom anymore. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you are very fluent, so that's going to help you. April, you might want to include also that because of my experience of working abroad, that I have an experience of working with diverse children. Diversity is here. And so I know in America that we will be teaching diverse children. They say diverse or diverse, diverse children. And so diversity is something that you could mention because you have experienced it. And you can even say in my classroom right now in Vietnam, I have, this kind of children, that different ethnicities in your classroom. So that would also help them understand. And the other deal that you might be able to, they'll ask you a lot about is classroom management. How do you manage your classroom? And so, because a lot of the Filipinos, when they come here, it's really different. It's a culture shock, and the kids are not compliant like our kids in the Philippines. They question you. They think critically. They really do not just take what you say. They will question you. And in our culture, if you're being questioned, that we think of it as rude. It's not here. We encourage our kids to question. We want them to think, and we want them to ask questions, just as long as they're not being rude about it. Like the tone that they use should not be rude. But as a Filipino teacher, then because the culture is new to you, you might think, oh, that's rude, or if, in our culture, we cannot look at people's eye whenever you're being scolded. Here, we encourage them to look at, look at us in the eyes, because that would show disrespect when you're putting your eyes down. See, that's the difference in the culture, and that's my role whenever I talk with the administrators. I tell them about the differences of the Filipino customs and here. Like, for example, an incident of a school was, that the administrator was doing this, calling the teacher like this. And the teachers were so insulted, because you know how it means bad in our country. But it's not here. That's how we call people here. Come here. Like in ours, we're like, come here, come here, come here. It's like, bye here. So my husband was so confused. I'm married to an American for 37 years now. But I said, dear, come here, come here, come here. And they said, you're telling me to go away, but then you wanted me to come here. So that's confusing. And that really did happen. So you just have to kind of the nuances of the culture.
Mhm.
You just have to learn it, So Vietnam, did you find anything that's kind of different in Vietnam when you arrived?
What comes to mind is that language barrier, since it's not their first or nor their second language. So in that case, students have different levels of English inside a classroom. I categorize them into 3 levels, wherein those who are zero English to like nearly proficient. So it's that struggle that actually like inside a classroom clearly seen.
Mm-hmm. So you might want to mention that in your interview, because that's impressive
Yes,
that
for
you've
sure.
experienced that. Yeah, you should mention that. I would encourage you to mention that. And the information you gave me was enough, information, except the part where what degree you finished. Did you tell me that? Did I miss it? You didn't tell
I
me what degree.
actually, okay, I actually took a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in biological sciences, and I had um, complete academic requirement for a master's degree focusing in teaching biology.
Okay. So you can just say, I have both a bachelor and master's degree in
Master's.
secondary biology. You can just say that. And that way, because that's the one thing that we would always want to know, a degree, is your degree going to be aligned to your experience? And you told me that you teach 6 to 12 and you have a secondary degree. So that's good. That's an alignment. Because I'm seeing a lot of teachers that are having elementary degree and they would teach high school. And that's a problem, because they wanted it aligned. You have at least 2 years in that level, that will be good enough. But if the only experience you have is the opposite, then that's not good enough. You need to have experience in their level that you are licensed in. You can still, some schools may work with that, but I think that immigration might not approve you. That's what I'm afraid of, because they're going to look at that. Is your credential matching your experience? So so I've been looking at that whenever we're looking for people to interview, like in the West Memphis, he was asking me for recommendation. And so I had to look for that carefully before I would send somebody that would have problems with it if they get hired. Luckily for the first batch, I recommended 6, I think, and they all got hired. And then the next time I put 20. And I think there were only 7 that got hired. But it's a good experience. I was thinking it's a good experience for everyone to go through the interview and be nervous about it. But then the next time you'll be more relaxed. But it's not within my power to hire you. It's going to be the school. But they do value my opinion, but it is based on what you did. See, I recorded the interview. So we were able to look back and see, and we have the same opinion. Look at how fluent this person is. Look at how passionate this person is. Like, for example, Giselle's interview was so good that she was almost crying because she was so passionate about something. And that really made a mark on this Mr. Kendrick, the West Memphis HR. He said, remember that girl that nearly cried? I mean, I really love her answers. And so anyway, so Giselle really made an impression, and it made an impression on me as well. And so I said, yeah, Giselle had attended nearly every meeting. I can't even think of a meeting that she wasn't there. She's always like, other than Mike, she was always my right hand. So and hopefully, Giselle, that helped you too, right? When you answered the question, he really did not ask you much question. He just asked you to interview did he? I don't know. First batch he did. Second batch he didn't. He just had them to like talk. Yeah, he did ask you a question, didn't he? Giselle.
Doc.
Yeah.
Yes, Doc, about the situation on what are the
what are the feedbacks of the parents and your students after your like after they graduate or after they are done with their class
Yeah.
after every school year.
Yeah. Yeah, but they all did a good job. That he was having a hard time picking which one will not go, so he just hired everybody. So that was cool. And anyway, so we're actually bringing 15, but 2 of them are from other countries because their superintendent wants other countries, and that's just the first batch. So they're the pilot group. They're the pioneers, the pilot group, and if they do a good job, they're going to hire more. So this is going to be a very promising district because they always have a lot of a turnover. And the thing is, elementary teachers, there are so many elementary teachers locally that they usually do not look for elementary teachers. But then if you have your master's in something else like special ed or whatever, then that makes it better for you. So I would encourage you, if you don't have your master's, start on it, especially if you are elementary, because they would have a joke about, oh, elementary teachers, they're like a dime a dozen. That means there's so many that applies, so I would recommend you, if you're interested in going for your master's anyway, get a different area. That's what I did. I have a bachelor in elementary and early childhood, and I have a master's in curriculum, and I have a specialist in ed leadership, and I have a doctorate in ed leadership. So I kind of got everything there. So my license, I'm licensed for both for district and school. So that's why I served in school and district. So that's a good thing to kind of vary it, because you already have a bachelor in something. Why would you have a master in the same field? That kind of just give you another chance on another job. So that's kind of what I wish somebody told everybody. Yeah. Okay. So there's my cousin Fran is on. Good morning, Fran. Late due to my internet connection. You still live in Karkar or Cebu? I don't remember. Anyway. Okay, so that's what April, you did a good job. I think you're ready for the interview. If you get an interview, that's what you should do, because you are very fluent and you don't struggle with the language, and that's a number one thing that they look for, because they don't want kids to not understand you. So that's what it is that you need to remember. So any question, April Lloyd? Do you want to be called April Lloyd or just April or Lloyd?
My close friends call me April, but some people call me Lloyd. So I don't have like preferences. It's okay.
Yeah, I think in the US, I would recommend you doing Lloyd, because April is always a girl here. Kids are gonna giggle when you say you're April. They're gonna giggle. Yeah. So anyway, high school maybe pretty cool about it, but little ones will be, like, oh, yeah. April, you a girl. So
ako
anyway,
nag-appeal diri. Kani ang kauban para na-recruit niyo diri.
Good evening. What were you saying, Glory?
Sorry, Doc. Actually, April Lord is actually my close friend.
Yes, she said that.
He's the one I'm telling you in the email. Yeah, the one teaching in Vietnam. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my mic.
Oh, no problem. No problem. You didn't say bad things about me, so that's good. Anyway, so Glory Faye, thank you for bringing him in, though. That's awesome. And I think it seems like the folks that have gone to another country seems to have a little advantage, or people like Celeste that had been here, because you're more fluent. And for you, if I interview you, I would be asking you about your experiences there. So Celeste would have already gone through the culture shock, all the different things that shock you when you first get here. Did you cry the first week you were here, Celeste?
Oh, not just a week. I think a year, because I'm away from my family, and I only have like a 2-year-old daughter.
Oh, that was rough.
I think the one thing that really teachers need to prepare is homesick.
Yeah, homesickness. And if you don't have friends here that gather with you and that kind of, have sympathy with you, empathy, it's harder. Because did you have a community of friends there already, or no? You were alone?
Yes, I need to, search for those community, the Filipino American Association. So I need to get to know them. So making sure that every week I go to the church, and then eat with the Filipino friends so that I won't feel that I'm away from my family.
Yeah, that's a very good advice, by the way. That's really good. Here in Arkansas, that you will be happy because they already had formed that community. They have maybe in one area close to 50 in one area, because I already brought in more than 100, but they're in other states too. So anyway, but this one area in Arkansas close to Mississippi is very loaded with Filipinos. Like one school has 15, and then pretty soon when West Memphis comes, that's 13. And then there's other schools, you know, in between there that have Filipinos. I went to Hope, Arkansas, which is like, that's close to Texas. And I served there this week I was as a coach. I'm an instructional coach that on my side, other than this one that I do. So anyway, so there were so many Filipinos in this school. And I was watching one of the person that I coached is a Filipino teacher. And so she was so nice enough to like have me meet the other Filipinos there. And there were 7, I think, there were 8 in total that were in her house. She hosted a little potluck for me. So we actually ate some Filipino foods. They were making some soup and things in her house. So I was really thankful. I said that was really nice that I got to meet with them, although they're not part of my coaching group, but it's nice to be able to see them and talk to them. And so they were curious about the H-1B process because most of them are, or all of them, except one, is J-1. And so that usually I would talk to the administrators about saying, if you have been here 2 years or whatever, about telling them if you really want to keep this teacher, go ahead and process, you know, the waiver if you can get that. And if you get that, then they can do I-40, which is I-140, which is the green card. So if you get approved for the waiver, the school, if you get a sponsor like the school would give you the I-140 and they pay for that, then you will get your green card. By the time it gets approved, they will send you a green card for 10 years. So, and then the green card for 10 years, if you do stay here for 5 years within that, so halfway before that expires, you take your tests for citizenship and you will become a citizen. And then you won't have the green card anymore because you will have the passport, the US passport, which is good in most countries, which is really, that's a really nice thing about having the US passport is there's a waiver, you know, where you don't need to have a visa in very many, more than 200 countries, I think, so many. So that's the good thing about it. So so Rosemary, I learned a lot from you, Dr. Merlina. You're my first mentor in my US application journey. Thank you. I learned a lot from you too, guys, because I did my studies here, but I was 19 years old when I left the Philippines. So I did have 2 years of college of pre-law in San Jose, USJR, but I never taught there. I taught here. So you are teaching me as well of how teaching is in the Philippines, because I do not know. I went there as a student, but I have not experienced being a teacher in the Philippines. So I'm also curious about what goes on there. What impresses me and what impresses the teachers here and administrators here are that you can handle so many kids. You know, 50, 60 kids, that's unheard of, because here the limit is usually 30. That's the most you will get. And that's usually for the bigger district. Like the district that I taught was a small district. I would have 14, 15, 16 students. Very nice. 16 students, perfect, because I have 4 groups of 4. You know, and I love that. But then some of the bigger schools, you'll be loaded with a limit, because I think the limit, I think it's still like that, 30, and you can only have a 150 total. So you can have, if they're going to give you 30, they can only give you 5 classes, 150. It has to be, cannot go over 150. Is what the limit is in Arkansas. I don't know about the other states, because here states are very independent. They do their own ruling. And so the schools follow the rules of that state. They do different things. So if I'm talking about something, I meant Arkansas, because that's what I've experienced 30 plus years in. So the other state, you'll have to find out, because I really don't know. So, okay. So that was very good talking to you, April. And Glory Faye, did you say anything that you were trying to say and I cut you off, or you just
no, Doc.
Okay.
I still have a lot of friends here.
Okay.
I'm bringing a bunch of them.
Thank
so
you.
that they can also learn from you.
Well, thank you. Why won't you introduce them to me? So I'll talk to them.
Yes, Doc. I have here Mr. April Lloyd Mangaro. I also have here Miss Leslie Jane Onabia. She's an English teacher. Okay. I also have math teacher here, Miss Nice Bilgar. And I also have one science teacher, Miss Andressa Igonia.
Okay, so let's do that in the order that you were mentioning them. So call the first person, if you don't mind.
Okay, we can have Miss
Can I?
Leslie Jane Nabia. She is also from Cebu City. Actually, they are from Cebu.
Oh,
I
Bisaya,
bring
I
a lot of
know.
Bisaya today.
Well, Bisaya, but you know what? I encourage you to speak English. You know why? Because we don't want to leave the Tagalog behind. Also, I want you to practice your English because I'm I sound like my husband, they would say, but I'm pretty much kind of representative of what your interview would be like because they would talk like me except without the Filipino accent. But anyway, so you need to practice because if you feel comfortable with me, you will feel comfortable with the interviewer, hopefully. Okay, so Leslie, you want to start us?
Hello, good evening, everyone. And first and foremost, it is with great severance to be able to partake in this interview with you, Doc McCullough, and also to the other teachers here. I am Leslie Jane Onabia, a local of Cebu City, which is known as the Queen City of the South in the Philippines. And I graduated with a bachelor's degree of secondary education, major in English. And I also got 30 hours of masteral degree, specifically Master of Arts and Education, major in English language teaching. I am affiliated with one of the big schools here in the city, a public school. And I've been with this school for almost 6 years now. I have also an experience teaching diverse students online from different countries and for a year. And I want to also hone my skills as a teacher and challenge myself with a new culture if ever given opportunity to teach there. I am a person who love to grow and learn, and I want to help the American students there as how I helped my fellow men, my students and learners here in the country.
Very good. Very nice. I can tell you're English major. Very fluent. Good job. And I love that you did not use Dep Ed. You actually corrected yourself and said in a public school. Good job. I wonder how many hours of master's degree do you have to have if you already have 30? How many do you usually have to have?
30 units, Doc. So I guess it's equivalent to 30 hours in
That's right.
in
Units is
America.
hours. Yeah, don't say units, say hours. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so but is that like, does that mean you graduated? What do you need to?
Not yet, Doc. It's like equivalent to complete academic requirements. So after which I would have to proceed to thesis writing. And if ever I will finish the thesis writing, then that's the time I will graduate my master's degree.
So that's ABT, all but thesis. In doctorate degree here, we call them ABD, all but dissertation. We have a lot of people that's all but dissertation. They don't finish. They just get stuck with dissertation. So yeah, all you have to do is say, I have 30 units, which means that I am just needing my thesis in order to graduate, because they would not know that. They would not know that if you just say the number of units or hours. Just say how, what do you need, because that's very close. You're pretty much 95% done. But
I see.
But yeah, so that's good that you have also going to be getting your master's in your field. But at the same time, if you did special ed or other kinds, that would have also given you another line. But if you're really crazy about teaching English, then yeah, take that in master's too, right? Okay, and I love that you mentioned the online thing because of the diverse students experience. That is a good thing to mention, so don't forget that, okay? And when you mention about what you can give students, you might want to also include what you can get. Like they're also going to teach you, your peers going to teach you. Okay, so you do not just say, I'm the giver of this information, because I also get back something. You may want to do that, just a suggestion. My favorite words are or not, just a suggestion. Okay, but great job. I think you're ready for interview. So
Wow,
So
thank you,
anyway,
Doc.
yeah, don't forget you have not sent me your CV and your cover letter. So be sure
Yeah,
to send
actually,
me.
Doc, this is my first time
Yeah.
joining the Zoom meeting.
Okay, if you send me your
And,
cover letter and what happened is that you've sent me your cover letter and resume, you will be a member of my vetted group. That means you already had the interview with me with the introduction, and you have attended my Zoom. That's a requirement. Then you will be part, like everybody else that had sent me one, of my list. And then that's the list I send to administrators. But that doesn't mean you just wait for me to do your work. You also need to be proactive by going to www.schoolspring.com. And that is where the schools in America would advertise their jobs. And you can actually apply there directly. And if they look for this 9-digit social security, you can put, I think somebody was saying they can put your TIN number because there's also 9 digits. But you can put me as a reference. Just don't put me more than 2 or 3 times because I don't want a million people sending me from the same person. And then so what happens is that when they want you to interview you, they will look at your references on the bottom of your resume. So don't skip that. Don't ever say upon request because they're not going to request it. References upon request should never be put in a resume. You should always put the 3 people you want them to send the survey to, asking about, to rate you, what kind of person you are, what kind of teacher you are. So you're going to have to put the 3 people's names, include the titles. If there's a colleague, put so-and-so colleague or so-and-so supervisor, and then their phone and email. Email is very important. And then tell them, if they are your references, that they need to be checking their emails. If this, especially this time when people are interviewing in March, April, May, June, those are the interview months. March and April would be the hottest because it's about the end of the year and they already know from teachers who's coming back and who's not. So tell them to check their emails, because a lot of times if they don't return if one of your references did not return it back, then they'll just get you off of the list to be interviewed. Okay, so make sure that this talk to the people that you're gonna become, that you're gonna make into one of your references, that to really take it seriously when they get something from a school, because that could be the key for you getting a job. And when somebody sends that to me, I always fill it out. Like, it's very quick. It's just like a Google form, and just click the rating there, 10 to 1, and you just put like 1 sentence or 2 sentences in the strengths and the weaknesses. And will you hire this person again if you were employing? And I would say yes. And then yeah, so anyway, just do this rating very quickly, maybe less than 5 minutes. So it's very quick. So it's not something that they have to do to write an essay for. So yeah, do that. So if you are one of those that had references upon request on the bottom of your resume, please add them, and edit them. And also, in America, the resume usually do not have the pictures. That's optional. I mean, that's even discouraged, because I was, when I was teaching at the university, we always tell them, do not put your picture. But for the international teachers, it seems to help when you have, for the interview, if they see what you look like, because it's like 1,000 words, so they can see what kind of person you might be based on your picture. So it seems like, from my experience, when I was sending a bunch of possible people, they always chose the people with pictures. So I'm saying now that you may want to put the picture at the top right or the top left of your resume, because that might help you, especially if you have a picture that look like you're a pleasant person, you're a happy person,
Yeah.
you're a kind person. Yeah, to have a good picture there. And I think it would help international teachers, not necessarily the ones local, but the international teachers. I noticed it. This is my 4th year of doing this now, and I noticed it a lot, that if you have a picture there, that helps you. That helps you, because if you don't have a picture there, this person could be anybody. Could it be, we don't know how this person look like. So that kind of more of getting you in the next stage. If they like how this might be a good fit for our school, because look, she looks friendly, she looks like whatever they're looking for. So that's why I think that you should put it, or not. but,
Yes.
but that's just something that should help you. So anyway, you have any question for me, Leslie? I don't know
For
everything,
the
but I can
moment,
ask
there's
somebody.
none.
None?
Yeah, there's none for none.
Okay.
None for now.
Well, you can
Okay,
always,
thank you, Doc.
you're welcome. You can always email me, okay? McCulloughMerlina@gmail. Okay, so thank you so much. Glory, do you want to do the next person? You did a good job, by the way, Leslie. Very fluent, ready to go.
All right, Doc. For the next one, we have Miss Andressa Igonia. She's a science teacher from the Philippines.
Okay, Andressa. Go ahead, Andressa, if you want.
I think you're unmuted, Andressa.
Yeah, make sure you unmute yourself, and everybody else make sure that you
Once
mute
again,
Yeah.
sorry, Doc.
I've done
Good
that many
evening,
times, don't worry.
everyone.
Okay.
Mayong gabi.
Okay.
Doc, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'm Andressa Sigonia, a public high school science teacher here in the Philippines. I hold a degree of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Biological Sciences from one of the top teacher training institution here in the Philippines, the Cebu Normal University. I also have my 30 semestral units of Master of Arts in Education, major in Science Education. I've been teaching for 14 years, and in that 14 years of teaching and counting, I was exposed to different kinds of challenges that has honed me to become a teacher, to become the teacher I am now. And in that 14 years, I was given by the public school where I'm working now a chance to be a module writer during the pandemic. Aside from that, I was also a teacher learning guide writer during the pandemic, and it was used by the whole division. And with that chance that they gave me, I was able to share to them the methods, the techniques that I usually use during my teaching process. And aside from that, I also love music. Since I grew up to be a performer, I used to perform in my school, in weddings, on stage. I was able uh, to be confident in facing a lot of people, and it helped me a lot, especially in facing different kinds of people and students in different walks of life. And I hope that I will be given a chance to be part of this community, which which helps together, uh, bringing teachers into the U.S. and I hope I can share my expertise in the U.S. also. Thank you, Doc, for this opportunity.
Very good. Nice job. Well, Gloria, you're bringing me a lot of really good folks here. So anyway, yeah, you covered all the information that you need. You gave the years of experience. When you said challenges, be ready for a follow-up on that. When you said, oh,
Yes,
I
Doc.
14 years, I have my challenge.
Yes.
So yeah, you're opening yourself to the first question there. So your next sentence could be challenges including this, this, and this. You could
Yes,
also
Doc.
just do that sentence, and then then that way they won't be like, okay, let's ask them what did she experience? Anyway,
A
and
lot, Charing.
yeah, yeah, they will be asking you that.
Totally.
Yeah, and I love that you said something about that you love music and that performing.
Yes, Doc.
That's the
Yes.
point where you would say, I would love to sponsor a club that would have, would help students, enhance their music ability, because I would love for them to perform, because a lot of schools would look for something that an added extra, like some kind of talent that you have. So if you love music, sponsor kids in music, like, if you love dancing, like Erwin does, he could sponsor a dance club, and those athletes, if you have played volleyball or whatever, even though you did not coach, but you have played it, you could always say, I can always, help with volleyball. At first you may not be a coach, you may be an assistant, and then later on you become the main coach. They pay extra for those things here. So Mike, I think Mike is not here, but he gets paid like $900 a year, so an extra $100 a month, just to to do an hour or whatever it is that you do volleyball, and they get to travel and all that with a bus and so on, and bring the students to another school, and or the other schools could come to them. So it's kind of fun, really. It's a fun thing. I used to be, when I was principal, I would watch the volleyball. We got to choose what sport. I always chose volleyball because that's the easiest way. You don't have to go too late. Well, the guys would pick the football and all that, and it takes forever to get finished. Well, volleyball, we do it right after school. We're done within 2-3 hours, and it's not dark. It's not dark yet. So anyway, so just remember that if you have some kind of talent, you need to make sure that you feature that. And I love
Actually, Doc, yes,
you feature about being a module writer. In America, when they did the pandemic, everybody was a module writer. So you might want to explain something about in the Philippines, not every teacher got to write modules, only the whatever.
Yes.
Because if you told me that, I would say, well, what's special about that? Everybody wrote module, here. But you can explain that it is unlike the US, only a few were chosen to write modules that everybody can use. Like, because in the US, we ask the teachers to each write their own module because that's their students. So they have to do their Google Classroom, and they just, put their module link there. So you need to explain those things. That's it, because it's an honor to be asked that in the Philippines, but they don't understand that unless you explain it. Okay. What, you have a question for me?
No, Doc. Actually, I just wanted to say that because you talk about playing volleyball, coincidentally, my team won
Nice.
in the volley. Yes, during our school intramurals, and it's against the grade 11. My grade 7 students won against the grade 11 boys volleyball team. Yes, we defeated the grade 11 students.
Good.
And that was such a pride for me.
Yeah, that's
and
yes,
yes,
worth
Doc.
mentioning for you. Yeah, you should mention that at the end. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, because that's something that you could that's added extra for you. That's an extra talent that the others may not have that you do. And you are very fluent too. Good job. So anyway, so Andres, thank you for your introduction. And so you don't have any question for me specific. You've heard about the culture shock here. Glory, please, about to experience that.
As of now, Doc, I don't have a question, but maybe later.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome. You also did not mention the pay. In Arkansas, you don't have to ask about the pay because it is $50,000 a year, and that's for 9 months, and that's close to 3 million pesos, and that's what you're gonna get paid. That's a starting salary here. So, but other states will have different ones. So Texas, I think, pays a little more, not much more. Our governor has really increased our pay so that we could compete with the other states. Used to be, we would say, thank goodness to Mississippi, because Arkansas was always the 49th, Mississippi was the 50th. So we always joke about that, thank goodness for Mississippi. But now we're actually right kind of in the middle now. We're not in the bottom. So, but Arkansas, and I'm biased, of course, Arkansas has a very, not as expensive in housing. Like you can get something for $600 that in New York maybe $2,000. Be careful about applying like in New York and those bigger places, because for one thing, it's hard to find an apartment, and when you do, one bedroom might be $2,500 a month. So you don't want to live in New York City. That's very expensive. But if you live in Arkansas, like where the Filipinos are, they are able to find houses for like 600, 750. And if they have 2-3 people, 3 bedrooms in there, it can be 3 people, and it can be 250 a month. And then they share the expenses. So you can save money, especially if your family's not here, to share with people. We had a house here that they shared 5 people. It was 1,500, so they only paid 300 a piece. Such a big house. It was for sale, and I talked to the owner about letting them rent it because they're teachers, and so they did. So anyway, all right. Well, who's the last one, Glory Faye?
Doc, we also have a math teacher, Miss Nice Belgar.
Okay. Excuse me, before you start, Joanne, yeah, you can leave. Sorry. Yeah, she's leaving.
Thank you,
right
po.
from the airport.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just need to. Yeah, thank you. Good
Thank
night,
you so
everyone.
much. Yeah.
Good morning, Doc Merlina. Bye, po.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. So go ahead. Sorry about the interruption there.
Good evening, Doc, and the rest of the teachers here. I am very glad to be part of this meeting. I am Nice Espinosa Belgar from Cebu City. I had my bachelor at one of the universities, State University in Cebu City, Cebu Technological University. I had my Bachelor of Mathematics, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. At my first year of service as a teacher, I was hired at age of 20 at Benedicto College. I'm handling math subjects like college algebra, statistics, and calculus. And from that 9 years, I am exposed from different type of students, their skills, their abilities, and their talents. And after that year, I was hired as a public school secondary teacher at one of the public schools in Division of Cebu City, Pardo National High School, wherein Ma'am Glory and Ma'am Onabia are my colleagues. I'm handling the secondary students, handling mathematics. And before I get my item, or I had also an experience as a guidance counselor for 5 years.
Okay.
So being a guidance counselor helped me a lot to understand more about the learners, the parents, the community, the administrators, and everyone that is involved in the society or community. And then I was promoted as a senior high school student up to this moment. I am connected at the same school. I'm handling senior student, grade 11. I am a teacher in mathematics now. And in that point of view, there are a lot of challenging that hone my skills also. And it really help and understand well about how my works done. And thank you and good evening, Doc.
Okay, good. Good. Information is loaded. The only big thing I would like to suggest to you, though, because you speak really well, is to put your notes right there by the camera. So it looks like you're looking at me, looking at us, instead of like you're reading somewhere else, because it kind of, yeah, it's very obvious you're reading. So you can pretend that you're saying by putting your notes right there in front of the camera. You tape it right there in front of by the camera, like next to it, the right of it, left of it. That way, it looks like you're just talking to us. Okay, that would be a little.
I sorry, Doc. My camera is in my keyboard because my laptop is a Huawei. That's why I'm looking at this point. So I cannot view this upper hand. So that's why it's very confusing. If I put my face here, that's why it looks like I'm looking at the other side.
Right. Yeah. Just make sure that you look like you're looking at the camera, because that's a big deal.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
Doc.
remember, in the
Thank
US,
you.
if you're not looking at the eyes, you're being rude. So you need to be looking at the camera. Okay. So you're talking to the person on the other side. Yeah. That's just that's.
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
No problem at all. And I love your name.
I'm sorry for that because I'm looking at I'm looking for the laptop screen instead of looking at the keyboard.
Yeah. Just look.
Thank
Just
you
look
for
at
that. Thank you for that. Noted. Thank you for that commented, Doc.
Yeah,
and
no
it will
problem.
appreciate me much more.
Yeah, your name is nice. I just thought somebody was like that
Yes,
was a
Doc.
nickname, but your parents like that word nice as an English word, huh? For a name. So you got creative parents.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And so I love that you mentioned the guidance counseling experience, because in case they would need a guidance counselor, that would be a good thing for you. And that's, by the way, we cannot get very many guidance counselors and librarians here. They call them media specialists, and we don't have very many that are going into that, because it's a 48-hour masters. And so not very many people are getting into that. When you start naming the folks that that you had, but the people, the parents, all that, just say the word stakeholders. When you say instead of saying community, all the stakeholders include the students, the teachers, administrators, community members, everybody. So just use the word stakeholders, and that will save you some time. Yeah. And then you did mention challenges as well. So you might do a sentence about what
Yes.
challenges they were. Like, was it classroom management? Was it, some issues with angry parents? You can include one sentence follow up to when you start saying about the challenges. How about the extracurricular things? Did you say any other than guidance counseling? Do you have any sports or anything that or talent that you want to, sponsor students?
I love dancing.
Okay.
And
Mention
playing
that.
volleyball.
Yes, mention
Yes.
those. Okay.
Every time there are activities in school,
Mhm.
like presentation in the community. So I am one of the participants because I love dancing.
Okay, then you need to make sure you say that, and then dangle the carrots by saying, "I would be willing to sponsor a dance club." Yeah, I'd be willing to sponsor a dance club. That way, they were like, "Ooh, we don't have a dance club. We should hire this person." So anyway, so little things like that, you just have to dangle in front of them so that they will put a star by your names and like, let's hire this person. So anyway, so yeah, that's a three really good candidates there, Glory. Thank you so much. You're like Mike now, one of the best recruiters.
Yes, Doc.
So anybody else that would want to
Thank you, Doc.
want somebody?
Doc Ma'am Ria Lisa Valmores would like to talk, Doc.
Sounds good. Ria.
Hi, good evening, Doc.
Good evening. Tell us about who told you about us.
Well, actually, I've been waiting for this chance. It was actually Sir Ken Aligado who gave me your name. He was the one who told me actually to do something. You have to make your move now and you contact Dr. McCullough. So that's exactly what I did. And so here I am. Thank you for sending me the link to the Zoom. Yes, ma'am.
So you are from
Okay, so-
Karkar as well? Are you from Karkar?
Yes, I am from Karkar. Actually, I'm from Cavite City, but my father, he was the one from Karkar, but apparently he wanted to go back to his native place.
Okay.
So being an only child, I have to come with them. So here I am,
Okay.
14 years and loving it.
Oh, that's good. My mom, that's my mom's place. My mom was born in Karkar. I was born in Karkar. Yeah, I was 4 years old when I came to the city, and then we moved to Cebu City. So I have special feelings for Karkar. That's just a really good place to,
I share sentiments with you, ma'am, because when I transferred here, it was really very difficult because my life had always been in Manila. I grew up there, and so having to adjust to a new place, not knowing how to speak the language, it's really quite a challenge. But like I said, 14 years, I loved it, and I'm still loving it now. No regrets whatsoever.
I'm so glad that you feel that way. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's you'll be so fluent in both. My Tagalog is not really good at all. Maria used to tell me lovingly that I wish you just use English because your Tagalog doesn't sound so good. So well. And I'm like, thanks a lot. I love you too. But that is true. I'm very awkward in Tagalog. So that's good that you're fluent in both. Tell us more about
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Okay. Hello again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Madam. I'm Rhea Liza Barito Valmores, and I've been teaching for 17 years now, both in the public school and in the private schools. Actually, I've been teaching in the public schools for 11 years already. I'm handling science, in particular biology and physics. Actually, it's really I found it more of a passion now. I started teaching when I was quite young, although I still look young now.
You do.
Uh, yeah. Actually, ma'am, my philosophy in teaching has always been the same as when I started. I guess this passion, this philosophy of mine, looking at teaching as a dynamic process has helped me become the teacher that I am now. Being able to adjust to the different, scenarios in the classroom and all that with the kids. If you ask me why I've lived in that with that particular philosophy, teaching as a dynamic process, because and as a teacher, I don't just teach my students. I don't just see myself as someone who imparts knowledge. I also look at the process as me learning from my students as well. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I finally decided to apply for a teaching job in the USA because I feel that as a teacher, I need to expand my horizons even more. And I feel that I will be able to learn more from my students, especially from different cultures, considering that the United States does offer that diversity in culture. It's not that I don't feel that the Philippines no longer needs my services, but it's just that I feel that I also have to grow more as a teacher. And well, if this is a chance for me, the opportunity to grow, uh, learn more about different cultures, practice my classroom management, and share my knowledge in science, then why not? Maybe, probably, praying that God will bless me with this endeavor this time.
Wow,
Yes,
you know what?
ma'am.
You speak like a native English speaker. You are so fluent, my gosh. So that is cool. And 17 years of experience, that is amazing.
Yes.
And
Yes, ma'am.
and I love when you said something about not just imparting knowledge that you also learn from the students. And then that was a good segue to why you want to come here. Very smooth.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Do you have any extracurricular things that you might want to mention to them?
Actually, I'm also a science coach. I coach students who participate in science investigatory projects. And then I also, although I'm a science teacher, but the English department in our school would often ask me to assist coaching also the students who would participate in the journalism competition. Yeah, I'd like to mention in particular during the pandemic, even before the pandemic, I already am a part of the DepEd regional office. Sorry for using that. I'm not
No,
supposed to
that's okay.
mention DepEd. Yeah, but since my the task no longer entails that I stay in the school because that's just an ancillary. I'm a writer also for instructional plans for the Department of Education in Region 7. And I got to practice more on the levels at the school during the pandemic because, as a teacher, like if you remember, I said a while ago that I look at teaching as a dynamic process because the environment in teaching is always not the same. A lot of things changed, and during the pandemic, I realized the impact of that change. So as a teacher, I made use of my I-plan writing skills, come up with students because the students are staying at home to make sure that the students would really, um, be able to maximize learning at home. And at the same time, part of the plans that I made is not just limited to curricular activities. I also made a monitoring plan so that I get the chance to monitor my students insofar as how they're really doing at home because I don't get to see them that much considering the restrictions. But I do part of that monitoring plan that I developed actually involved active communication with the stakeholders, if you may allow me to say so, in particular the parents,
Mhm.
because during the time that they are my partners, really.
Mhm.
And I'm just so happy because the recent result of the National Achievement Test showed that, somehow our students fared quite well in the
Very
national
good.
examination. Yeah,
Very
it's
good.
just
And that is I
blessing.
like the way that you said that because it's not like bragging, but it's just like, you're just proud of them, but you're not really,
Yeah,
like arrogant about it. So that's really good. The way you're handling that is good. And when you said coaching science, are you familiar with Olympiad? Science Olympiad? That's
actually,
what
ma'am, yeah,
yeah, that is something here. So if you mention that word, they will know what that is. And it's always hard to find somebody that would sponsor that. So make sure you sponsor that. It's also they're also big on science fair here. So when I was teaching science myself, I actually sponsored both Science Olympiad and Science Fair. So my students were preparing for both. So yeah, and most of my students somehow were Asian students in that particular charter school. I was waiting for my job at Department of Ed at that
yeah,
time, and I taught at that school, and that was fun. So yeah, I
yes,
know,
ma'am.
that's fun to do that. And
Yeah, I
love that
agree
you
with
said
you.
you want to expand your horizon. That's always
Yes,
good
ma'am.
because it shows your professional growth, that you want to grow, which means you might have a growth mindset. That's a word that you want to throw around too, is having a growth mindset. You're a team player, you're a good collaborator. Those things are really good to throw in your introduction because those
Yes,
are
ma'am.
some things as administrator I would look for. Like I want somebody to get along with others that would work as a team. I want someone that would have growth mindset that will not be complaining all the time, that are
Yeah.
willing to change and are willing to grow, and they're not worried about the result. They're worried about the process really. and to tell students that said, we're not there yet. The yet should be your favorite word if you're going to be having a growth mindset. The word yet. Students, we are not there yet, but we will get there. So those are some things I look for whenever somebody would introduce themselves, like growth mindset. But if you start saying negative things, that's a fixed mindset. And so you start, saying bad things about your school, bad things about the principal or whatever. That's a big like flag for me or other administrators here. They're like, I don't know if I want to hire this person. That might just be a fight among among their peers. So, you look for those. And that's why whenever you're talking, I took notes. So I'm always taking notes because I want to be able to specifically give a comment, that not just helping you, but helping others as well. Because I'm sure some people may be taking notes. So that's always a good thing. Yeah.
Yes,
Any question for me, Ria? Looks like you are interview ready, girl.
Actually, ma'am, I'm just so happy. Actually, before when I received your email this morning, I couldn't believe it because I was actually praying for this opportunity. This is not my first time to apply. I did try before. I think that's 10 years ago, but I wasn't able to get it. Maybe it's not yet time, but just to, if you'll allow me to say this, I guess is the best birthday gift that I'm gonna have. Tomorrow is my birthday, so this is
Happy
actually a
birthday.
very good, yeah, very good gift.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to more Zoom meetings with you. And I told Miss Giselle na I'm just willing to wait for my turn to introduce myself. And so listening to the rest, I'm also writing notes because
Yeah.
it's so good to hear a lot of good words and a lot of good ideas coming from you guys.
Well,
I
thank
really appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, you definitely
Thank you
a
so
growth
much.
mindset person. That's a good thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us. It's always nice to meet the
Thank you, ma'am.
new ones and keep the older ones. I always believe like in friendship, your older friends are the golden friends, and then you have your silver
True.
friends and bronze friends. And so I've got some golden applicants here like Giselle, and she's finally gonna get here pretty soon, I hope. Anyway, they are now in the process of step 1, which is LCA, labor condition agreement, and we are waiting for that. It's supposed to be 2 weeks like this week. So hopefully we'll hear. I told Mr. Kendrick that from West Memphis that I will meet with him again once we get that, because then we will be looking at all the paperwork that's been being gathered. And I think Gurley and Giselle, you're ready to go. So we will be sending whoever's done first. And that's kind of more of our little pilot, like, okay, what kind of comment will they get? Like, are they going to be looking for more evidence? Which is nice. They would look for more evidence. They will tell you. They don't just flatly deny it. They will actually send you a note saying, we need more evidence. And then they actually will spell it out for you. Because my brother-in-law said that, well, we really, there's no point, we cannot really deny a person if you have all the evidence. So you just need to load it with evidence. And that way, there's no point of us denying it when you already have, the evidence there. Because I was like telling him, I could not hardly sleep because if I have these 15 people that I'm helping, and some school is spending nearly 100,000, nearly 5 million pesos. And what if they don't get approved? I was like telling him, and he said, Merlina, don't worry about it. Just get the documents, get them to get their evidence. And there's really not a reason for my officers to deny it, because they just have to follow instructions. So hopefully he's right about that. Hopefully. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So Giselle is another new person. By the way, do we have anybody that's already here? That's our guest speaker that could talk to us. I know Celeste may be able to share some things that she experienced in Arizona if she wants to do that. Are there others like Leslie? Is she here?
So far, no, Doc. I
No.
think everybody is new.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody. So Celeste, I may go to you if you don't mind, since Celeste spent 3 years here as a J1 person, J1 visa recipient, and then 5 years, she said, and then
5 years.
and then in another state as well. So I would love for you to share, because I want to see the similarities of your experience with the experiences of the teachers here. So tell us, like, guide us through the process. Like, you finally got here, then what happened? What were the things that surprised you, things that shocked you?
Yeah, a lot of things. But actually, on my first year of teaching in the US, I was taught in a charter school.
Okay.
And then something doesn't really work well with that school. So I decided I'm the first one who moved out from that school, a Filipino teacher, because we were 23 teachers who were hired in that school. So I
Wow.
was the first one, yes. So it's kind of, for me, I think they made it like a business, not an institution. So they're after, So
money.
yeah, so a lot of things, yes, a lot of things didn't really work well for us. And then I decided to move out of that school. And then I tried to apply first for my certificate, my teaching certificate. So first, I applied for the New Mexico teaching certificate, and then I made reciprocated it to the Arizona because they don't, unlike for the New Mexico, they do allow reciprocating your foreign credentials, but not in Arizona. So you need to have So you need to have an existing U.S. Teaching certificate, then they can reciprocate it. But
Yeah.
unlike I heard from Maryland, they also do that. Even your credentials are foreign, and also Illinois,
Yeah.
but not in Arizona.
Wow. So Arizona's more
They
strict
don't.
then.
Yes, they're very
Arkansas
strict when it comes to
license.
public teachers.
Yeah.
Licensure.
But do you know that Arkansas feels the same way? That's why the
Yeah.
H1B that I'm asking to get one is not really for the ADE, for the Arkansas Department of Education. It's really for the visa, because they really, the person there says, I don't know why they're applying in another state. They don't, I mean, they get a license there when they don't work there. You know, they need to get their TOEFL, they need to get all these things. So so that one is for the visa, not really for the ADE or the Department of Education here, because they will want them to do the TOEFL, you know, the teacher of English as a foreign language, TOEFL, and most of them have passed it, which I'm very proud of them, because that's one of the hardest things to pass, because it's testing their reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And I know of some that have taken it 5-6 times and could not pass it. So that's why I made a big deal about go ahead and pass it already. If you're going to be coming to Arkansas, go ahead and do it, because that's hard to do. And then in Arkansas, we also have like this portal called Arkansas Ideas, and they are getting their PDs there. So there are additional PD requirements, but it's okay because it's all at home. You can just listen to it or whatever and answer questions. And that is all in this one portal. So, but they cannot be put on there early because they have to have their social security number before they can be put in there. So those are some things that they have to do when they get here. So.
Oh, so you were saying that even though I already have my 2 teaching certificates in the US, I cannot reciprocate it to Arkansas?
You would be able to
instead.
You could, because you did have an experience. I'm talking
Oh,
about
okay.
people that just got their license, but they never did teach in those states. They don't like
Okay.
that, but they
Makes
would
sense.
be okay with you because you did experience you in Arizona. So yours is a totally different deal.
I got scared.
No. Yours is a totally different deal because the others
Okay.
are getting it and then they've never taught in America. Yeah, but you have. So yours would be very easy. Yeah, yours would be an easy transition. Yeah. You don't even have to do, I don't know if you still have to do a TOEFL though. Well, we'll find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah, because I have a friend. I think you met him. It's Sir Eric Ramilo, and he's the one who mentioned me about you.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he's from Hope, Arkansas.
Hope, okay. Oh,
Yeah, the one that
I
you were
just met
talking
them.
about earlier. Yeah.
I just met them.
Yeah,
Yeah, wonderful folks. Yeah. So
yeah. So he's the one who told me about it, and then I know that he's having a hard time passing the Proxys exam.
Okay.
So I'm the one who helped him to get a license in New Mexico, and then he was able to reciprocate it to Arkansas. So because that's the only way that they could stay in the school.
Okay.
If they don't pass the Proxys, then I think they're not gonna extend their contract.
Yeah, so that's a way around it, I guess, right? For people that are doing TOEFL. But you know what? It depends on who they got at ADE, because the Department of Education, because there's one person there and she is happy. She happens to be in charge of international teachers, and she will not let it go because of that experience.
Wow.
But if you're able to admit to do it with other folks there, they're not going to be as strict. So Hope did a good job.
Yeah, they're lucky.
Yeah, they're lucky because she would argue that that one person, I'm not gonna name her name, but she would argue that they have not been, have not taught them, because she told me that in person, I mean, on the phone. Merlina, this is not right. No. And I'm like, okay, they have their license, it's another state. But I just did not say anything. I just like took notes, mental notes that, okay, so that's how she feels about it. But it's nice to know that there are other people who do not feel that way. So we can always maybe have around it. But this is going to be YouTube. So
always a hope.
Yeah. So that's good to know. That's good to know. The praxis, guys, if you are taking the elementary for elementary teachers, I would if you were elementary, you have to take the praxis for math, science, English, and social studies. But if you say mid-level, you only have to take one. So mid-level would be your 5/8, you see. And so I would recommend you doing mid-level. They may assign you on there, but you already have your, your praxis. But mid-level is the easier for you for your first time of doing praxis. Is you just have to say you're mid-level, and in that way it's one test instead of 4 tests. That's a lot because every test costs money. So that's one thing that I learned, that you just say mid-level. It's one test, one praxis test. So
and they said it's so hard.
Yeah, it is hard depending on your area, though. I know the what area was it that they're finding hard? Was it the math folks?
No, he's an ELA teacher.
Oh, the English. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, English
You could
teacher.
pass the English.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because we are at a disadvantage. If you were not here in the US, you did not know all the literature, and they're going to be covering all the literature that kids in America would have covered from elementary to high school, you see, and college. And since we are from another country and we didn't have the experience of that, then that's why, my sister who's, came to America also when she was 19, she took that test. She took the test where she was already licensed elementary and she went to do the higher level. And she said there's a lot of literature included. So you're supposed to know this literature and you don't know, so you don't know how to answer these things. And so there is a list of Common Core literature somewhere online. So if you have a list of those, you tell him that get a list of those and be familiar. Just read the clip. What's that? The summary of it. In the internet, you can read the summary or whatever, just to know what the story is. And because he doesn't have time to read everything, on top of teaching. But be familiar with the different classics, for example. Literature for English, they have to know those list of classics that American students would have been familiar with, but we're not, because we came here, we're already teachers. So that's the disadvantage, is because of that. So yes.
Sir Mike is here.
Yeah. Oh, Mike, finally, you're late. You're late, Mr. Mike.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. What happened? Did you oversleep?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
So that's okay. We have talked to some really good folks, and Giselle is my co-host, so I guess you'll just have to assist Giselle today. But
Yeah.
Giselle, thank you so much for doing that too. Mike, do you have anybody here that you are introducing, or you have introduced? Do you want to be introduced?
I think
39.
none of them just attended. Yes. None po. Wala pa po, Doc.
Okay. So we have some people that are new, though. You recognize that. You and Giselle can help me.
Yes po, yes po.
Okay. Who is it? You can call him. Go ahead.
Ma'am Rowena Diputado would like to talk, Doc.
Yes, Rowena. Okay. Rowena. And look for the next person, Mike, okay? So Rowena is the one now on the hot seat. Rowena,
Hello,
first
Doc.
tell me how you got to know about us.
Hello, Doc, and to everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I'm so thankful to Mom Glory Fe for giving us this opportunity as well. She was the one who told us about this meeting. And I am so happy to be here. I am Mrs. Rowena Diputado, and I am an English teacher from Pardo National High School as well. I've been teaching English for the past 19 years, and this is my 20th year.
Okay.
And I teach in the first semester 21st century literature. And then this semester, I've been teaching reading and writing. And I am also a journalism teacher. I am a school paper advisor for the last 3 years, and I've trained my students in journalism. And for the years that had me on teaching, I think teaching is really a passion and commitment, because if you don't have the two, you won't last this long. And
I
I
agree with
believe
you.
also that despite the challenges that every teacher encounter in the classroom, they will be able to overcome them with, as long as there is strong support from the school and from colleagues. And if the teacher is willing to collaborate as well with the other teachers and the administration, it's going to be a smooth flow. And that's what I learned in my course of teaching, that the teacher should not be alone in the classroom. That the teacher should have to be collaborating with others to learn, and also to watch others how they do, and in their own classrooms. Thank
Very
you so
good.
much.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Now, why did you say you want to come to the US? You didn't include that, did you? Yeah. Why did
Okay. First of all, I have friends in the US already. They're also English teachers, and they've been always encouraging us to apply since last year. But since we are very busy with all of the things, we have 6 classes in a day, and then of course we have 2 preparations, and I also have my journalism class, training my students. So that's why it seems like time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Now, when Mom Glory Faye invited us, we got to thinking, yes, why not try, so that we can learn from Western culture as well, of what are their methods and strategies in teaching.
Very good, Mike. You have another person here that's recruiting like you, that's doing a good job too. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the only thing that you did a very good job of, you're very smooth and very fluent, and I can tell that you're gathering ideas really quickly, which is good. And then this is not just for you, but everybody else. Everybody, let's pronounce colleagues.
Colleagues, okay.
Colleagues, okay? Because for in the Philippines we say colleagues. They don't know that here. So colleagues, okay? It's like sound like college,
Colleagues.
except it's colleagues. Yeah, legs, legs, but colleagues. Okay, yeah, colleagues. And then say the word flow.
Flow.
Flow, yeah. You have to make it flow also. Don't stop it at flow. You need to say flow.
We
Okay?
get nervous during this
Don't worry,
meeting.
because you know what? I had so many things. My husband used to make fun of me because she said, yeah, Merlina has difficulties in English. Because I would just mispronounce things, and I would never just correct you rudely. I want to make it a lesson for everyone that when you do your interview, you would say colleagues, because then they'll understand it. And when I observe you, like if your school hires me as a consultant for your school, that's one of the things that I would practice with you, like angle. In the Philippines we say angle. It's angles, and theorem. How do you say theorem? Somebody?
Theorem.
Yeah, you're doing it right now, but I think I hear it wrongly every time, because not wrongly, but it's just different than how the US does. And it's very understandable because we came from a different country and a different pronunciation. So, but once you know better, you do better, right? That's why I feel like I would say that, not to insult anyone, but just make it a learning experience for everybody. Okay, please take it that way, because I don't know it all.
Okay.
I am
you.
also learning with you. So, but anyway, colleagues is a very common thing that I hear. Okay, need to be fixed to match theirs. And I love that you shared that you are teaching journalism and helping advise students on that, because paper advisor, because not very many teachers here in English would like to do that job. They pass it along to the new teacher, and then another new teacher comes, and then she gets that or he gets that. So you mentioning that is a good thing, because there's one person that seems to be willing to do this. So you
yes,
need to
it's a
make sure
very
you do
intense
mention that.
job.
It is a job, isn't it? And so, but I think here they may, and Mike, do you know if they give stipend, Mike, on like journalism teacher? Do you know?
I don't have any idea, Doc po. Kasi in Central High School, I don't hear anything about the journalism po, Doc.
Okay. Well, I know they do on sports, right? And so some schools would give you like, 500, 700, and $1,000 extra, to do any extra things. But if that is part of your load, they will not pay you. Because I know, like, for example, volleyball with Mike, he has to do it after school. So they have to give him a stipend. Because anytime that the school asks you to do something above the time that you are supposed to be in school, they pay you here. Of course, if you have a small school that do not have much budget, they may just ask you to volunteer. And that's fine, because one of the standards in the teaching standards here that the principals look for is, do you go above and beyond? Do you go and be involved in the community? So when you get here, be involved in the community, including watching volleyballs, watching footballs, basketball, whatever the sport is. Be seen in the community so that you can see your students, because some of your students that may be misbehaving themselves in the classroom, and then they see you there supporting them, they are gonna warm up to you, because they will thank you for coming. Thank you for watching my game. And so then I always made sure that when I see them the next day, like on that Monday, I'm like, great job on that game. I love the way that you scored 13, whatever. So I would always comment on it, like in the front of the door. I would always make a little comment to every student, and I would comment on that. And the kid would remember, oh, she did come to my game. And see, that's one of the things that you would do in order to build that trust relationship with students. That's knowledge of students. So on top of knowledge of content, you're going to have your knowledge of students through watching them outside of your classroom, of the school. And another thing that they look for in that standard is, how do you, communicate with parents? Do you do it often? Do you have a communication log where you put the date, who you contacted, which student, and what's the reason, and what was the result? And then I even put next steps. What are the next steps? Do I need to follow up? Do I need to do, I put that on my note. Now with all the digital thing, you can put that in a digital, in an Excel or a Google Sheet, because those are important things that you do. I know special ed really, you always, Mike, do you do like a lot of things, communication with parents, right?
Yes po, Doc. Especially po if there's a modification po or a revision with their IEP.
Yeah,
we need to have the conference with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Opo.
Yeah, because I always say that at the beginning of the year, you need to have the emotional deposits. That means that before you tell them about your kid misbehaving, you need to call them and tell them, oh, I'm really enjoying your child. He's really talented on this. I would give them positive things, so that when I start calling them about the negative things, they already know me. That is not my first call to them. You don't want to do a first call to the parents and they don't even know you, and you're already telling them negative things about the kids. I would not want that. So what I always do is I would communicate to the parents for positive reasons in the beginning of the year, or even during the year. When I see something that the child is doing really well, I would make sure I text the parents, or I would email the parents, or I would, see them in the ball game. I would mention that, and you see them beam. They're just so happy. Any parent would be so happy when a teacher would tell them about great things that the kids are doing. So even when I was administrator and my son was in my building, the teachers would be taking pictures of Jeff doing presentation or doing something good, and they would just text it to me, and it just made my day. So I know how that feels. So make sure that you do that. You communicate with parents, because that's one of the things in your standard. And another thing in your standard for if you're in Arkansas is, how do you reflect? Do you reflect about your lesson? For example, what worked, what did not work. What I did before was I would go in my lesson plan book and I would make notes, like, for next year, I need to do this to change or to keep or whatever. How do I need to make this lesson better? So I'd make a note. So when I do my lesson plan next year, I'd look back and say, okay, this one did not work. So I need to do something else different, especially with this group of, new group of students. So once you know them, you'll know how to fix it. So being reflective is a good thing. And being involved in the community and involving stakeholder, being a collaborator, which is, if you have a lesson, if there's a way that you can bring speakers in. When I was doing my electricity unit, my husband is electrical engineer. So I asked him to come and talk about electricity and bring something to show the kids, answer the questions. One of the questions was, how come those birds do not get electrocuted when they are right there on the wire? so he had to like talk to them about, ground wire and so on. And so those are things that I would bring the electric company, one of the employees, and talk about how to save electricity and so on. And, things that would make it a real life, and then make the speakers come in. And a lot of times I would have the newspaper come in that way, because it is something the community might want to know, things like that. And so, so yeah, when you do a lesson, always look for ways to make it real life. And that's what my sister and I always try to do. So anyway, okay. Question, no question? The passion thing is good to mention too. Good mentioning. Okay. All right. So new person. Mike, did you find somebody?
It is Sir April Mangaro.
He did it already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I don't know, ma'am, if Ma'am Seferina Garcia.
She was here before, but she can talk to us. Saturnina, thank you for coming back. Yeah, she's one of the first ones. She's like, I think she was the first one this morning, 10 or 15 minutes before.
Okay.
Yeah, actually woke up early. Usually Mike had to call me and wake me up like, Doc, are we coming on? And I'm like, oh my gosh, So this morning I actually woke up early, so I opened up early. So Saturnina, did you want to talk to us? You don't have to, but if you want to.
Hello, Mom. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Saturnina. You were here last time and you're here again. Thank you.
Yes, Mom. I was here last time, and I have already. I talked already last time, Mom.
Yes. Do you have any questions since then? You have slept since then. Do you have any question for me?
Actually, Mom, I learned a lot from you today and last time also. I'm listening to the speakers, and I've learned a lot from them tonight.
Well, give me one, Saturnina, that you would take with you. Remember, if I do a PD, I always tell them, if you take one thing from this training, I'm happy. So tell me some one thing that you think you're going to be able to remember to use.
From those speakers, I have learned that as a teacher, we are not just a teacher inside the classroom. We are also learning from our student or learners.
Very good.
And
it's good learning.
I've learned a lot today.
Yeah, good.
Tonight.
One of the exit slip that's my favorite when I do any training or whatever, I would say 3 things you learn, 2 things that you want to use in a classroom, and 1 thing that you still have a question about. So 3, 2, 1 exit slip. So 3 things you learned, 2 things that you want to take to the classroom and use, and then 1 thing that you may still have a question on. And that's always good, because I would read it at the end, and then a lot of the questions are actually similar. And a lot of the ones that they got are actually similar as well. And so so it's kind of nice feedback for me to see that what of the things that we've mentioned kind of made an impact to them, so they will take it with them. So do that with your students. At the end of the day, you might want to do a 3, 2, 1 exit slip, or you can just do a 2, 1, whatever you can vary it. But this is the way for you to know what your students got. I know one of the teachers in Barton, Marissa, she would give them like a sticky note or just a little scratch paper, like their 4th of it, and to ask them for feedback. What did you learn today? Okay, what do you have a question for me? And then that's their ticket to get out. I used to do that all the time. The ticket to get out is this. And then I would tell them, and then I'm by the door and collecting it. So when they leave, they have to give me something of my exit slip, because I wanted to know, especially if it's a new lesson, I would like to know how the kids got it. Did they get it? Do they still have a question? Was I smooth on doing it? Do I need to put more hands-on things maybe? Because it just kind of flew from one ear to the next, because they did not really write much. So it's also kind of more of really good information for me. So I hope as teachers, you do the same thing. You don't just, this is a misconception, okay? That if you have to be standing right there and be teaching for you to call it the teaching, no. It doesn't have to be that. Your kids could be the one teaching. There's a such thing as a reciprocal teaching, where you go sit down on their desk and they teach you what they know about the subject already. That could be a pre-test thing, that you want to know what they know. And I take it seriously. I would just sit there, and I'm not Miss McCullough anymore. I'm gonna be, you know, so-and-so's name. And then I would ask them questions. So, sir, so-and-so, I would do this. But it's just sometimes more fun way to get them to open up on what they know. So kind of find different ways to kind of get them out of their shell, because a lot of the students in your classroom that will not even look at you in the eye because they're so shy, you want them to get out of their shell. And that's one thing that I can say I've always done. They would come in my classroom in August and they would be like so shy. By the time March, February, they're in trouble for talking because they got out of their shell so much, because we talk a lot. We would do a lot of discourse. We would a lot of conversing. We do a lot of think, pair, share it. And any product that we did had to be presented in the front. If you work on it, I'm going to give you time to present it so that everybody else sees your hard work, and then everybody else learns from, you know, that, and then make a comment about your presentation. So always, if you do that, your classroom will be much more fun. Kids will come home and say, oh my gosh, I really like my teacher's classroom because she does this. And we get out. We don't just sit on you know, sit on our desk all day long. Now, my favorite saying is, your brain can only handle what your bottom can endure. So your brain can only handle what your bottom can endure. So if your bottom's already hurting and you really want to get up, your brain's going to quit learning, and it's got to be more obsessed with like, when do I get out of this of this classroom? And so when that's why agenda is having agenda in the classroom, where you tell the students agenda for today, today's date, and you put number one, bell ringer. Just put a bullet, bell ringer. The next one would be we're doing mini lesson on whatever, and then the next one will be a sheet on whatever, and then exit slip. You know, you just put the little things that you're doing today. So every day the students would see what your agenda is, and then they would know that, okay, my bottom can endure. It will be done by these steps. And for me, for my students, they know that they're done, and I check it and it's a good job. They can go to the learning station. They can go to the corner where I put a lot of bean bags, and they could read a book really comfortably. In my sister's classroom, it's always so cozy. She had this big leather chair, and then they could sit there. And then they put a timer for so many minutes so that they can take turns. Like 4 people, I think, can fit in there. But that encourages them to like, let me do this and finish this in a high quality. When the teacher says it's okay, then I could go choose some. I even have a chess center where they can play chess. I even have like a math center where they can build things out of math manipulatives. And, you know, of course, the science center would be the ones where we had our class pet that they choose every year. So we would have a class pet every year. So anyway, so things like that you can do. That way they have a motivation to finish. Because one of the things that I noticed when I observe teachers is like, some teachers do not teach from bell to bell. A bell to bell instruction is that when they come in, you give them bell ringer and you teach all the way to the end. And maybe if you have time, you can give them time to do a reflection, you know, writing in a notebook or whatever, and then make that a routine for you, that if they get done, they can do the reflection or whatever. Or if they get done with all that, then they can go to their station or whatever it is that you have planned. Because that's when you get behavior problems, is because they're not doing anything. So they don't engage in anything, they're going to get in trouble. So if you have kids, especially that are so active and always get in trouble, you need to start doing a bell to bell instruction and put the agenda in, so they know that this is my reward thing. You know, I have a publishing center that there's a table with all this, you know, colored papers and colored pens and gel pens and stuff, and they would write poetry and they would write songs and raps, all that. And of course I have I always had a author's chair, I call it, or poet's chair, that when they want to share something, they could share it. It's open, and then everybody else, we know that somebody's opening. We could be doing some writing, but we're listening to it. So they're multitasking all the time, but it's just an ongoing thing. Like they're creating something, they want to present it, I'm going to give them the opportunity to share it. And so that's something that that makes the classroom more fun, because you're actually having them work with both brains, the logical, mathematical left brain to the creative right brain. So if you have them working together, that's always, you've addressed everyone's needs, because we have kids that would do whole to part learning, and then or part to whole. So if you're going to do something like that, you're going to have to cover both of that and then both sides of the brain. So think about that when you're teaching. How do I cover this? I guess because I am a whole to part learner, I always have to show my kids the whole big picture, and then I'll break it down. So which means that I will show them an exemplar. If I want an essay, I will write an essay and I will make it an exemplar of what I want to see. So even if I have a substitute, I would write that essay and have the substitute to read it to them. And this is what, for example, by autobiography. This is Miss McCullough's autobiography, and I would talk about, about myself or whatever, the different categories. And then that's an example. That's the whole, and then to part learning, so that we teach you how to do the body 1, body 2, body 3, the different categories you might want to include in your autobiography, for example. And so that's why you're breaking it into pieces, but you have shown them the whole picture. And see, but of course you have kids that think the opposite. But teachers, we always teach the way we learned. And so just remember that, but not everybody is going to learn the way you do. So think of the other learners as well. How does this look like in your classroom? Can anybody relate to this or validate their practice? I don't want to be the only one talking here, guys. I want you to also talk. Like when I was talking, is there something that reminds you of something that you have done already? Or you do already?
Doc,
Yes.
they don't want to talk. I have a special guest here.
Okay, who is it?
Yeah, I know. You know her. Hey, Ma'am Annalisa, come here.
Oh, Miss
Ma'am Annalisa
Anna.
Mercado.
Hi, Miss Anna. I was thinking of you. Hi, I was thinking of you yesterday because I made the Atlas rubric for the different writings, the 3 writings, and I adapted it, and I made a little checklist that I could share with teachers. So I was wanting to share it with you, but I didn't know what grade you teach.
I'm teaching 8th and 9th grade now. We're focusing on the narrative, argumentative, and informative writing.
Yeah. And I have those rubric from Atlas, and I made it into user friendly where your students can use it and check it off, and you can actually get scores off of that. But it's very aligned to Atlas. So yeah,
I would love to have it, Doc. Please send it to me, please. Because
will.
our upcoming test will be next week, like 6, 8, I guess.
Yeah, that's what Maria said. So please, when I share with you, can you share with the other English teachers in your building too, please?
Yeah, sure. I will share it to Eva and to the whole department.
Okay, that sounds fine. And it's just
because there are 3 Filipinos in our department, and there's only one, our lead teacher.
Okay,
she will probably like it.
That'll be good. How tell us about your struggle or whatever this time. Are you okay?
I'm able, because in my first 2 years, I was really having we are really having a good support. I'm not saying that we're not having a good support right now. It's just that it's new to me because this is my first year in high school, and I was teaching like two years in 6th grade. But at this time, I'm already good at Central High School with the help of other Filipinos too, because without them, I don't think I can survive it there too, because kids are different, though they're kind of the same, but in high school they're really different because they love to fight.
Yeah. Oh my, are you serious? Do you get lots of fights there?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my
there
God.
are fights. Well, I guess that's just normal across US.
Especially in your side of the state, guys.
But it's not that. Yes, in our country, in our town, in our city, in Helena, but it doesn't happen in my classroom yet so far.
Good.
They just do that in the hallway, but there are police officers in the hallway. So
yeah, every school has a SRO, school resource officer. Do you know that I already retired and never saw one single fight? Never.
Really?
Never.
Oh my God, I would love to see that.
And so I thought at schools where they didn't have it, they must have it after whatever. But when I was administrator, they always the ones that I would be involved in investigating would be the bullying. Somebody was bullying somebody, or bullying in social media, or bullying by verbal or written. So those are the things that I had to investigate. I need to have at least 2 or 3 different witnesses in order for me to decide. So I would have 5 or 6 cases of bullying. That's what, and I did not like it at all because I like to be in the classroom with teachers. I do not want to be the disciplinarian. But luckily for me at that time, I had a guy that was actually doing the discipline, and I only have one period of it when he goes coaching, that last period. And I still like, oh my God, I'm glad I don't do this all day because
Yeah.
you would see the drama, and you see that in the
Yes.
high school, right? So
Yeah, the high
you're
school
now
is
content?
different.
You're now content
Yeah.
in the high school? You got used to it now?
Yes, so far.
What's the big
You really
difference?
have to stay your firm, the discipline in the classroom, because if not, they will run over you.
Yeah, and I think you do have a good one. I've been to your classroom many times, and
Yes,
you do
ma'am.
have a good one. You're
I
firm.
won't allow them to do any disrespectful behavior in the classroom, or else I'll just have to send them to the ISS. If you're not ready, go home or go to the ISS.
Good job. Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they will have to talk back. You will really have to talk back to them too, and let them.
Sounds like you're meaner now.
Yeah, I am. I think so. One of my students in sixth grade, and now he is in seventh grade, and he saw me at Central High School. He said that, "Oh, Miss Mercado, you look mean now. I need to."
In
Because
elementary,
if not,
you were kinder.
yeah, especially in the first year,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Because
Because
you don't know that the students are like that. But now, down.
they
Down, or I'll call your dad.
yeah,
No,
there
no.
you go. There you go. But see, you establish your reputation on your first year. So if they think that
Yes.
you're an easy teacher and you can just abuse that, and you can just do whatever with that teacher, all the kids are gonna be asking later, what kind of teacher is she? Oh, that's easy. You don't have to behave there. You don't have to do anything. Then that there goes your future. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
why it's important to do that, always, but especially your first year. You establish that reputation already.
you need to.
Yeah.
And also after that, after the discipline, you will have to establish also good rapport, relationship to the kids, because they will start sharing their problems at home with you.
Yeah.
It means that they're comfortable with you, and everything will follow. It's just it will be very easy for you to tell them what to do if you have connected to them. You have
Yeah.
relationship to them.
Right, because that
Yes.
research has actually proven that if a child likes the teacher, they will do anything for you. And the
Yeah.
misbehaved kids, they're not gonna misbehave in your class because they like you. And that's been
Yes.
proven over and over and over again. I have seen it in my classroom. I've seen it in my sister's classroom, that teachers would say, how come these kids are always behaving in your classroom when they're just so awful in my classroom? And I was thinking in my mind, are you building relationship with these kids? I have.
Yeah, it's very
My
important.
first month, yeah.
In my 3 years experience in here, because this is our third year, this is my third year, relationship is very important, and then everything will follow. It's like magic. But if you cannot build that relationship, the trust to students, no, they will not they will not follow. They will not do any single work in your class, and they
Yeah.
will keep and they will keep on messing your class.
Yeah. I think you got that covered. That's why I always hone in the 5 core propositions, which you name the knowledge of students. The second
Yes,
one is
ma'am.
knowledge of content, your strategies, right? And then your assessment. Do you assess the beginning, the middle, and end? You kind of see during formative assessment. If you got this, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you're still confused, time sideways. So you can kind of see where they are on it. And that's why
And the
things that are
students
here would work. Go ahead.
and the students in high school, it would be for me. It's easier for them to talk to them if they don't understand anything, if they need help or something, compared to the students in elementary. Maybe the difference is kind of different.
Yeah. What
Easier to talk to them.
Yeah, what I noticed with the high school, they're so worried about what their friends think of them, and that you cannot put a kid in the front. They think you are being punished. In high school, they're like, it's a big deal to them because they want to sit in the back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
yeah, so one of the
That's why I have a lot of vacant seats in front, and then if they will misbehave, I will have to move them up, move up, or go to ISS.
Yeah, there you
One,
go.
I will count them. One,
you
two,
You got that
move,
right.
get up, take your things. They will have to mumble. It's not my fault. I've given you 3 chances. What did you do?
Yeah,
Did you follow? No, right? So choose, make a wise decision. And they will have to get up, mumbling. I don't want to hear anything. Shh.
You are so good at it. I'm so proud of you. But
Yeah,
anyway,
because you really have to get used to it now. Or no, I was really, there is one. I would like to share that there is one we have one local teacher. Actually, the other day she walked out. She walked out. She's a local teacher. And she's not she's not a Filipino. She cannot handle her classroom very well, and her classroom is just right across to my classroom. So every time she comes to my room and then she's asking, "Hey, Miss Mercado, can your students follow instructions?" "Yes, ma'am." "Is it true that your students," because some of my students in sixth grades are already her students right now, and then she was asking like, "Is it true that your students are can be able to do this, the brochure thing that I did last time, and then put it up on my wall in the hallway? That's their project about this. They will have to create a menu with descriptive words to it, like the fried chicken, because our lesson is about adjectives at that time." And then, "Is it true that they can be able to do that?" "Yes, they can. But you will really have to guide them and model everything for them before you let them do on their own." Because what she did, because my daughter is also in her class, it's just really sad that the kids don't follow her. And then she walked out, and then when she walked out, the principal was there, and then the kids even clapped their hands.
Oh,
my
no, that's horrible. That is horrible. I'm glad that it's not
but
one.
they said that she's not teaching because she's not science computer science major, and she is an business administration major. So maybe because she is not her degree is not aligned to
what she's
to the one that
she might not know, and the kids can read that, and they think that you don't know what you're doing. That's why you have to fake it until you make it, because if they think that you don't know what you're doing, they're gonna abuse it. They're gonna say, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing," and they don't. You almost like no respect because you don't. You don't know. You're not ready. You're not prepared.
Because some kids will really have to tell you what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I'm a teacher here. You're a student. Do your work and I'll do mine. Oh my God. How come they're doing things like that to teachers? I don't know. I can't take it.
They do that. And when I get mad at a kid about that, I always say later, "Sweetheart, I want you to know that I care about you as a student. I just did not like the bad choices you made. So I hope you make better choices next time." So I always kind of do that. So kind of heal that they don't leave my classroom thinking I'm mad at them. I'm mad at the behavior, but not at them, not at the student. I love you. I care of my.
They're very expressive. They will. One of my students say, "Miss Mercado, I used to love you. Oh, you don't love me anymore today. Why? Because I teach and you don't want work." You think. And then that student will smile at me. See? You just don't love me because I'm teaching and doing my job. So what do you want? Worksheets? And you do on your own? And when you grow up, what will happen to your future? And then he will realize, oh, she's right, and then he will keep quiet.
Yeah, but I think
do his work in the corner.
The way that you're explaining it to the kids, and instead of just saying "shut up," which you should.
No, I don't use the word "shut up" in my classroom.
You should never, and you should not allow your kids to do that, because that's very common. They would say that, and I look observing. I always look at the teacher. Did the teacher correct it? Because we do every time. You can say
even the rules. You will have to remind them like every day. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, classroom voice, level 1.
Yeah.
You know what level you are now? 10. Oh, bring it down. 1.
Are you doing a level? Level 0 is quiet. Level 1 is whispering. And level 2 is actually, working in groups. And level 3 is like presenting. And so is that what you do?
Yes, ma'am. I just do level 1 and 10 in my classroom. 10 if you are participating, 1. This is a classroom voice, and 0 is quiet.
Okay.
I'm an English teacher. I don't do too many numbers. I just do 0, 1, and 10. Okay.
I love that.
That's funny.
I love that.
But they're really kids. They're really kids that you need to address to them differently, because they come from different situation at home.
Yeah.
Like I have one new student, Harden. He doesn't want to do the work. Why you don't want to do the work? Because I just want to be a rapper. You wanted to be a rapper? Oh, how can you go to Hollywood? You cannot even understand the contract. What if they will just give you $10,000 if your performance, it costs $10 million. See, they will get fooled you. Then, oh yeah, you're right. Oh, how can you be able to write lyrics if you don't know the basic poem, the poetry? That's the foundation, the skills that you need to learn. Okay, I will do my work.
So there you go. See, but when you do rationale of why they need to do something, they'll understand and they'll remember that. Very good. You're doing an awesome job, girl. So did you do your extension already so you can get 5 years?
Yes, I did. We already did, Marilyn, but Mary Chris is already approved. We're still waiting for the corrections.
She's approved for what? For her
for the extension.
Okay, extension. After that, then you should do try to do the waiver if you can. Then that way.
I don't know what waiver we will be using for.
It's I-612.
I-612.
Just
the thing, Doc, is we don't know what waiver and reason.
Talk to me. I have a list. Talk to me later. I have a list.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
A couple of people. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for sharing those. I've seen her in action. She's an awesome teacher, and I'm so glad that you're doing those brochures and real life things. Remember I talked to you about that earlier, and I was so happy when I saw you doing that in your classroom. So I'm so glad you're extending. So I don't want you leaving or whatever. They would always say, "Who's being married?"
They're really worried. They're really worried if we will be extending or not.
I bet.
Because they really don't have certified teachers.
Yeah.
They can get any teacher, but not that kind of teachers that we are. We're certified and licensed. Yes.
Yeah. But nobody's being marites to me saying that who's leaving. Okay.
But I was thinking of leaving too. I was thinking because it's not every day that you're having good, there are really times that you're really there's so much pressure. I'm so stressed. I want to leave. And then you wake up.
Yeah,
have a staycation. We're here. We're here at Wyndham Club Resort. This is sponsored by my friend.
That's funny. Oh, that's nice.
Yes, ma'am. It's a 2 nights.
Okay, very good. Wyndham is they're more reasonable. I was gonna stay at a Hilton, the 4 nights, but then it was like $800, and I stayed at Wyndham. It's 200 something.
Oh, okay.
So I canceled my Hilton and I went to Wyndham.
Because he got a timeshare account for Wyndham. So wherever we go, we can always book a resort or a hotel for Wyndham.
Wow, nice. Okay.
And
Well,
he
your school is willing to do H-1B, so I hope you don't leave them because I know I talked to them about H-1B already, and I don't mind helping if they need to do that, but I do not know budget-wise what you do because I don't have a contract.
I hope they can be able to do that.
Yeah, I hopefully if Miss Mill's still around, I know she's your biggest advocate there.
Yes.
We still communicate.
Miss Mills really would love us to file, but we don't know how to start.
Well,
because of our visa, we're on J1, and then if we will file H1B, I don't know if it will contrast. Yes, ma'am.
Contact me, and I have the step-by-step thing, and I have the link to every step. So all you have to do is send you that, and you can just follow the steps. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone. See you soon here.
Okay. Well, you're having fun there. That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Alisa is one of our success stories. She's always done an awesome job along with her peers. This is also the 3rd year. So I'm very proud of them. I used to go visit them every other week. And so they fed me so many meals already. They're such good cooks, all of them, including Ernesto. So anyway, it's when you come here in Arkansas, you become family. It seems like we just really, get along. So far as I know, at least they don't share with me the dramas, if there is any. As far as I know, there's no drama with them. So, but if they do, they will just settle it amongst themselves because they're really good people. And so I'm so proud of that because they were on my list, like, you are now. They were on my list and I was the one pushing for them to be hired. And when they were hired, then you kind of, we already had that relationship like we do now, So hopefully especially with this Memphis bunch, that we would have that, right? So anyway, who else is needing to talk?
Doc Merlina,
Yes.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Marina.
Sorry, Doc Merlina, sorry. I sent you a message there. Joel and I need to attend an event, and we'll be back.
Online.
Will be online by 7:30.
No, yeah, no
In
problem
time
because
for-
it's recorded. You can just catch it, later if you want.
Aren't you going to meet the West Memphis people?
Yeah, I was just talking about the transportation. There's a link there on the very first page. I don't know if you have click on those 11 links to see what apartments you might want to do. That's that's the biggest thing that I do. Have you
But
linked?
we'll be in later on. We do not want to miss the group.
Okay, sounds good then. Okay, yeah, we are
Thank
gonna be
you,
looking at it
Doc.
online.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice
Bye
have a
bye.
day.
Okay, see you later. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so who else? Who else do we have? Because I want to finish talking to the group so I could go with the West Memphis.
Doc, I think you miscalled the one the teacher that I'm referring to. It's Ma'am Seferina Garcia.
Yes, Safarina. I noticed her name. I love her name.
Yes, ma'am.
Safarina, are you still there? There she is.
Oh,
Hey,
yes,
Safarina.
yes. I know.
Safarina, in the Philippines, we're so common to have like, multisyllabic, three syllables or more. Like
Yes.
Safarina, you got four. And according to research, somebody did a study, the women with three or more syllables are more successful than less. And for the men, it's one syllable. One syllable. So my kids' names are Stephanie and Jet. So yeah. So that's a good name. All right, it's nice to meet you.
Okay.
Go ahead and introduce yourself if you want.
Anyway, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So nice meeting you all. So good morning, Doc Merlina, and good evening to other attendees here. So thank you
39
very
was-
much, ma'am, for. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So just like what you said earlier, so my name is a very lucky name, but actually I was named after Saint Peregrine because I was born in May. So that's why my name is Seferina from Saint Peregrine.
Oh, I like
Okay.
it. Yeah.
And another thing, so I'm very nervous now because I've heard already the stories, the introduction made by other teachers here. And I just do not know if I'm in the right track. Why? Because I'm an elementary teacher, a grade school teacher, and most of you are high school teachers here, right?
No, there's some elementary here. There's some elementary here. Don't worry.
There are some.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
so
some.
so since I'm here already, so my name is Seferina Garcia, and I'm from Batangas, Philippines. And I'm already in my 26th year in teaching, 20 years in the private school in the Philippines, and I am on my 6th year here in Doha, Qatar, teaching English reading in grade 6 students. So I finished elementary education. I have masteral degree, and I had also units in Doctor of Education, major in educational management because my masteral is also in educational management. And currently, I am already in my third trimester in Doctor of Philosophy major in special education.
Nice. Okay.
So I really love teaching. So my love for children and my passion for teaching and learning are I consider those as my maintenance and motivational factors why I am still here in the educational arena. So I really love children. So that's why I'm into grade school or elementary teaching. So when it comes to, you mentioned earlier that when it comes to, since I'm teaching elementary, so discipline, routine activities, consistency are very important. Even though I am teaching grades 4, 5, and 6, and right now I am dealing with grade 6 students. So at the beginning of the school year, I see to it that I lay all my cards my rules and regulations school, from the very specific passing of paper from rear to back, right to left, or left to right, or from front to rear. So those are very simple things, but those are very important that the students need to know, most especially when you are uh, establishing classroom management. And of course, the activities to be done in the day. So I see to it that I write on the board objectives for my lesson, as well as the activities to be done for the day. Yes, but sometimes I do not write for the purpose of element of surprise. So I want to to surprise them with other activities. I also communicate with parents, not only just to report the misbehavior or misconduct of their children, but just like what you mentioned earlier. So at the beginning, when I see to it, or when I see or observe that my students are, I mean, they have inclinations in this specific sport, or uh, they have this skills in a certain activity, I also call their attention, because those are, I tell them that your child has a potential in this kind of activity, or in this skill. So let's practice, or let's motivate or encourage our student or your child to join activities or contests in that specific field. So those are my ways when it comes to establishing rapport with my parents. And so far in my 26 years in teaching, I did not find any problem when it comes to dealing with my parents. And then, since right now I am here in Doha and I'm already on my 6th year here in Qatar, so I am really into, how do you call this? Diverse learning, diverse students, diverse learners. So these are already second nature to me. So dealing with challenging and difficult students, most especially that in my classroom, it's a mix of regular students, students with behavioral problems, those with ADD, ADHD, mild CP, and the likes. So dealing with these diverse learners who are not only Filipinos, but there are also other nationalities like Egyptian, Syrian, African, Nigerian, Somalian, Ethiopian. So I am I think I am ready with the challenge when it comes to diverse learners. And I know that in the US there are more challenging students.
You
So
got it. You got
and I am also a very I am an advocate of lifelong learning. Why should I say an advocate of lifelong learning? Because I never stop learning, because once a teacher, you should never stop also learning.
Yep.
So you teach and you learn also.
Yep.
So when during the pandemic 2020, so I was able to have a compilation, almost one ream of certificates from attending webinars, online online webinars, Schoology, Coursera, and the likes, all sorts, whether it's local, national, international, I have them all. So that's
Wow.
why I learned a lot, even though we just had our online mode of teaching during the pandemic. And now I can use all of those nuggets of learning from those webinars.
Good.
So I am really saying that if you are really a teacher, then you should not stop learning.
Yep, good
Because
good
once
advice.
it's
Good advice.
also a learner.
I thought I learned a lot until I heard you. Then I made myself feel lazy now. Because you've attended so much. You're like a professional student, which is a good thing. My husband always calls me, yeah, Merlina, just like a professional teacher, professional student. She just loves to learn. So that's a good compliment, by the way. And so good for you that you did that. That you really want to. You also need to balance though. Make sure that you still have a life. You still have your personal and professional
Yes, ma'am.
balance, because you don't want to introduce yourself to your husband or kids again because you just close the door and study or whatever. That's what I felt whenever I was doing my national board. I was so obsessed with it because there's so much to do that I just pretty much closed the door, and I would do my thing after the kids went to bed. So I actually went to the other room so I wouldn't disturb my husband, because we had an extra room for guests. So that's what I did, because it's hard. And so for you to share that you did all that, oh my God, that's impressive to me. And having the units in even master and doctorate, that's really good. So you are a good model to teachers everywhere that we need to continue to learn. Maybe not to the extent that you have, but at least close. But anyway, the when you mentioned about you communicate with the parents, you might want to say, I see the importance of communicating with the parents. Because when you just say I communicate with the parents, anybody does that. But if you say, I see the importance, I feel that it's very important for me to speak with the parents, because, for example, they're partners in education. So as partners, they need to be aware of what's going on. They need to know what's going on with their student, with their child. And so, yeah, just add that little part about I see the importance, or I feel that it's important. That's a good one to do. And also on the year of experience, I know you don't look it though, but you don't say the exact number. Just say 20 plus years of experience, just because I don't want any bias on age for you. Somebody could do the math. Okay, if she finished at 20, she must be at 46. So they will do the math part, and that's really an age thing. You do not need to have to mention to them. Okay, because a misconception sometimes is that if they have been in education that long, what if they are not up to date on the technology? Because a lot of our older folks or older teachers are not, and they actually depend on the younger teachers to teach them about the new technology, because they've not been keeping up. So some of them are biased against that. Like, let's not hire somebody that already have been education that long, because they might not be up to date in their technology knowledge, which may not be true, especially with you, that you are a professional learner. So, but you don't want to create that balance and make it be against you. So for those that are in education for nearly 20, or even more than 20 years, just say over 20, or even with more than 10 years, I would say over 10 years. So anyway, so because you don't want them doing the math and then thinking that you're not up to date or whatever. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those pieces of advice.
Yeah. And yeah, so differentiation, you said something about being in Qatar and how diverse students, that's really good. I love that you mentioned the different nationalities that you have taught. And you are right, the US students are really a little different. Yeah, because that's always a thing that they would ask, like, Merlina, would they be okay teaching American kids when they've never done it before? That's something that they always say. And I said, oh, kids are kids. They might be rainbow colors or whatever. Kids are kids. But the difference is, in America, our kids are not as compliant as the kids in the Philippines. They would just be so, they just listen and they would do what you say. But in America, don't expect that, because they're not going to do that unless you are in a very strict private Catholic school. Then you see that. Because when I do accreditation visit, like I went to New York and I went to this Catholic school, and they were like the Filipinos students, and they were American kids, and they have the different diversity, ethnic diversity there, but they were acting, because that was the culture of the school. That's what they were doing. Everybody's wanting them to do that, the teachers, the administrators, or whatever, the nun, and that's what they are expecting. So if that has been established, then they would be looking like Filipino kids, but that's very rare. A lot of times they are very independent. They're going to question you, and you're going to have to form that relationship in order for them to be closer to you. So you have to also invest your time in the, to have that great rapport with them. and be kind to them. Don't be a mean teacher. I mean, you can say something about to stop doing it without being mean to them. You understand why I did that, right? Like how Annalisa did, where she would actually justify and do a rationale why I'm asking you to do this. Those are some really good things to do. You know, I'm not trying to punish you. It's because I want you to succeed. Remember, you want to be a doctor. So this is a way to get there, is that you're going to take this seriously, because this will help you, grow as a student, and then will become a doctor someday. So you can kind of, it's always good to know what they're wanting to be, because I always use it, that what their goals are. And so to justify that, and then knowing the reason why you did what you did, I'm not just being mean to you, or I'm not having a bad day and getting it out on you. It's because I care about you and I want you to succeed. Okay, and so that's what I do, and that's why when they leave the room, I was like, okay, stay behind, I want to talk to you. And then I would always make sure that they feel a little better, that they understood why I punish them, why I do that. So, that I care about you, right? That you are my favorite kid, right? I would kind of joke like that, but then I would say, I want you to have a good day, enjoy your day, and tomorrow let's make better choices. I said that with every grade, my 10th graders, my 11th graders, because I've formed a relationship with them that I can talk to them. And so the high school, they're just like elementary kids with bigger pants, right? So anyway, okay, you have any question for me, Mr. Farina? Because I'm my kudos to you for all that you've done. So
yeah, Ma'am Leslie is there already.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Farina. Did you say you have any question?
I just like what I told you earlier. So did I pass your
5 stars? 5 stars, 10 stars. You did very well. You're one of the best, really, introduction I've heard, because you elaborated and you're very natural at it. It's just a conversation between me and you, and it's obvious that you were not just reading. Even if you're reading, it's not obvious to me that you're reading, and you're really just having a conversation with me. That's how you know you have a very good interview, is when you're just like visiting and just kind of having this conversation with the person that's interviewing you. When you get there and you're not nervous, you just have relaxed, you're able to relax. And that's what I want you to feel, because you should never be nervous, because once you are nervous, the amygdala part of your brain is going to stop you from learning, and it stop you from thinking what you're about to say. So just relax. My mom used to say, when you go into a presentation and you are, coming in the door, you need to kick on the door with your feet 3 times, on the floor 3 times. That seems to work for me. Or I would count 1 to 10 in my head and take a deep breath. And that seems to work for me, because when the first time I talked to 800 plus people, close to 1,000 folks, I'm like, oh my God, there's too many people. There's so many eyes looking at me. And I said, what if I forget what to say? But then I was ready. I was doing a presentation. So I was ready with my presentation. I'm just going to pretend that there are not that many people there. But anyhow, so yeah, you just have to get yourself relaxed and not be worried about it. Okay, and I think the West Memphis 13, they did a good job, and I hope that they think that was helping, that I was there to help them relax. Any of you, Memphis 13, any of you, did my presence help or hurt or hurt you?
It really helped us, Doc. Really
Yes,
helped us.
Good. I hope so, because you don't want to like, oh, what is she doing here? Yeah. So Fran, Fran is my cousin. What did you think? Especially I'm your mentor, plus I am your cousin. So what did you think about that, Fran? When you entered?
I'm very proud and happy.
Oh, good. Well, I'm
So
proud
much
and happy for you too.
I'm very lucky to have
Well,
you.
Good. She's from Karkar too, for those Karkar bunch. So, anyway, all right. So anything else? Is there anybody else? I don't want, somebody to be left behind here, that you came in and you took your time to come in and then you're not able to talk when you want to talk. So be sure to like raise your hand or whatever. Mike and Giselle's going to help me look.
Yeah. Doc,
I know I talked to Benedict will be
Doc.
staying because, yeah.
Yes, pa. Doc, do you want to interview or to let these 2 kids, we have 2 kids here, to share their experiences as a student here? Because I know some of the teachers, especially in the West Memphis bunch, they will bring their children here and they will just share what
Yeah,
are their
good idea,
experiences
Mike.
as students.
Good. Are you
Yes, ma'am.
volunteering your kids, Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My daughter and mom Anna's daughter.
Good. Did you warn them? I hope. Yeah, they should know me now. Michaela and I forgot Annalisa's daughter. Yeah. Oh,
Listen po.
they're the pretty ones. See. Okay, I want you to girls. I want you to tell them your name. You tell the teachers here. We have about 37 teachers here. That what you experienced. What was your first impression of America, and what are the things that shocked you or surprised you? What are the good things you like? So both bad and ugly, but try to kind of share with them so that they'll know what their kids might feel when they get here. Okay.
My first experience is we were shocked because uh, American students didn't raise their hands to talk to the teacher. They don't greet their teachers good morning, good afternoon. And
Ignore the teacher.
Yes, ma'am. But the school is good because we don't feel much pressure about when it comes to academics. Yeah.
Really? You don't feel the pressure because you're already smart. That's why. Got it.
Because we don't do so much work in the school.
Okay. So you're telling me that this school is not as rigorous as the school you had in the Philippines. That means the
Yes, ma'am.
Philippines was actually harder for you. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You are Mike's daughter, right?
Yes.
And then Annalisa's daughter is right here next to you. You're best friends, right? You're best friends now? Okay. Annalisa's daughter, I forgot your name.
My name is Alison Mercado.
Allison. Okay. Allison, tell us about your experience. Do you feel the same way or do you have other things that you want to share?
She already
She's
shared
ready.
her I just experience.
Then Michael, okay, Mike's daughter then. Mike.
At first it's hard po to adjust here kasi po yes, the way they talk and
what did you think about the way they talk? They like they just eating their words really fast? What were you yeah. Yeah, you know Miss Marie Chris, right? She said she only heard good morning. That's all she understood the first month she was here. So how about the teachers? How did they treat you? Did they treat you like nicely or did they try to accommodate you better? What did they do?
Yes, they treat us nicely. One of my teachers suggests that I should use Google Translate if I feel if yeah, if I don't know the word.
Did you do that? Did you do that?
No, ma'am.
No, you didn't have to. Yeah, you're always fluent, I thought. Yeah. So that's cool. That's cool that you offer that. But when you share about the kids not saying good morning or the afternoon, that is not part of the culture. In fact, when you have a visitor coming in the classroom, they don't. We try not to change your flow, to change your smooth flow might be affected if we have to have you stand up and greet us. So we don't. I just tell this, and I tell the teachers that just ignore me. I'm just gonna sit down here. But that the greeting, in the Philippines is a must that you have to greet good morning, you have to greet afternoon, just like we kiss the father's hand. We don't do that here. Yeah. Yes. So we don't do that here and just don't expect them to do that here. But as a classroom teacher, I would establish respect. But that's an individual teacher thing, right? So obviously you are with teachers that did not get that expectation. And so, yeah. So what else did you get surprised in? What were the things that you missed though in the Philippines that's not here?
The group dances in the MAPE subject.
Yeah, they don't have that here, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
And
what else?
What can you say about the lessons?
Yeah. Yeah, are they easier, harder?
No, ma'am. It's easier.
Easier. And homework? No homework?
No, ma'am.
Not much homework?
Actually, when there's no performance task, the quizzes are just sometimes, not every not every week. Not every week.
Okay. Yeah. So there are some things that you miss and there's some things that you like. How about the food in the cafeteria? Do you like it?
I'm not getting foods in the cafeteria. I bring my own lunch. I can eat without rice.
Yeah, I know. Girls, I've been here 37 years. I still feel the same way. I still want to bring my rice. So I do, although I do eat American food, but my mind is thinking, where's my rice? Well, even though I'm eating the American food, but I can relate with you. And so that none of the kids say anything about you bringing your rice. Did they? Did anybody say anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Just do not bring the stinky food like, dried fish and things. You know that. And even sardines, don't bring those because they are gonna say, wee, they're gonna say something if it smells, right? So what are the common baon that you have? What are the common things that you bring to school with your rice? Chicken,
Egg.
pork, egg, eggs. Okay.
Giniling.
Huh?
Giniling.
Oh yeah, so that ground beef, with vegetables. Yeah, you've got some really good cooks as parents. So yeah, so you would have a good ones. How about like dances? Have you attended dances? Like they have those little dances with the boys?
They dance. No.
They don't have little prom things or little mini dance?
We just don't participate, but we participate in volleyball team.
Volleyball team. Both of you are in volleyball? Yeah, Mike. There you go, Mike. You have recruited them. Is that weird? Is that weird that your Michaela? Is that weird that your dad is your coach?
Yeah.
Does the kids give you a hard time about it?
No.
No. Okay. Well, they I do not know. Sometimes with the coaches' kids, they are like being blamed, like, oh, they get to play a lot because their father is a coach or their mother is a coach. So you just kind of watch for that, because some parents might think it's not fair because if you're in all the time and the kid never gets to play. So just watch for that, Mike.
He
Well,
don't,
girls, huh?
he don't really, what do you call that?
What?
Yung hindi mo ako masyadong pinapasali sa
It's just in the bench. He just do the opposite. He doesn't even favor you at all, huh?
Yes, po. She's just in the bench.
Yeah, but Mike, you cannot also bench your daughter all the
Well,
time.
I don't have a stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot bench your daughter all the time just because of that, Mike. If she has the ability, you have to put her in. Don't worry about the
Actually, I put up. I give them most of the time I give them time to play because I'm always telling some of the players and also my assistant coach that they attended the training, so we need to give them a chance.
Yeah.
It's not about winning. At least they experience to play because they allotted their time there. Their parents are also there watching, supporting, and then of course the parents may be discouraged to let their daughters play again or join the team if their daughters is not playing.
That's right. Yeah, especially that they travel far away to go to some of the schools and then just to watch their kid being in the bench.
Yes,
So I'm glad that you're feeling that way because I think that's fair. That nobody
Yes,
should be in the bench. At least they need to have even if just a few minutes. Just
Yes,
have the
po.
experience, right? Yeah.
Yes, po. As a coach, that is what I'm doing. I told them no. During volleyball training, during volleyball games, she's not my daughter. She's one of my players.
Yeah, good for you. I think that's a good way to handle that. Yeah. Well, girls, thank you so much for sharing. You're so nice to do that. I know it's very quick. I mean, very spontaneous, but you did a good job sharing. And I think how this would help the teachers is that would help them decide if they're going to be bringing their kids already. Are they going to have it the wait? I know, let me think, Mike, they were waiting for how long for you before they came? And I know that Allison also had to wait. How many months?
How many months, Ma'am Anna, before Allison came here? It's here, right?
I think 2 years.
2 years.
After
Oh my God.
After 2 years.
So Allison,
After-
how did you
after a year
feel
po.
about that? How did you feel about that, Allison, that you had to wait for your mama for 2 years? How does
No,
it
it's just a year.
Uh,
It's just a year.
yeah, just a year daw po. 1 year.
Did you miss your mama a lot?
Yes, ma'am, because having a mother not around in the house is kind of hard.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's different without the mother there. Yeah, you're right. So how about Michaela? You had your mom there, but your dad wasn't there. How did you feel?
Um, it was hard for me too, cause
Because your dad was already in Qatar too, right? I mean, before coming
yeah,
here. So you kind of
yeah,
experienced it longer, right?
yes. I always miss him because I was only I think 7 years old when he
Left.
left
Okay.
home. Yeah,
And how often did he come home to the Philippines to see you guys?
once a year.
Okay, well, at least you did that, Mike. Because some people would do 2 or 3 years we're not seeing. So not bad. Once a year is good.
Yes, and then after February, March, April, May, June, after 4 months, yeah, they just came here.
Okay. And they live in this nice apartment, and his wife is a good cook, and and so you're really thriving there. So that's good. I'm proud of you girls, and keep that up. I can't believe that you think America is easier than the Philippines, but yeah, I would tend to agree with you. That means you're really smart in the Philippines and had rigorous curriculum. So
Yes.
yeah.
And
So
of
thanks
course, Doc,
again.
yung social life nila,
Yeah, how about your
of
social
course,
life?
it will be different. Yeah, it's different also. And aside from that, the usual thing that they are enjoying, like going to the malls, yeah, they
Yeah.
need to adjust because we don't have malls here.
Not in where you are. You are in the remote
Yeah.
part, but if you are closer to Little Rock, you'll have malls. So
Yes,
depending on
po.
where you are in the state, but since you are in the kind of parang probinsya ba, so that's
Yes,
why
po.
you are not close to the mall. So what do you do for fun then, socially?
Every Friday night we will visit our Filipinos to party together. Yeah.
So they're partying every Friday night. The sessions, huh? So the kids are able to play while the adults also visit. That's good. Do you always bring food? Do you have a potluck every time?
Yes.
Yeah. Whose house is hosting all the time? Are you hosting, Mike?
No po, Doc. Yeah, it still depends po who will offer who's in charge for the Friday. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes Ma'am Jing's house, Ma'am Leslie's house. Hey, Ma'am Leslie, you're here. I know you're here.
Yeah,
Don't think
yeah.
good morning, Dr. Merlina.
Good
I'm raising my
morning.
hand because
That's okay. I was looking for you. Hey, let's have Exora join the conversation because we have Michaela.
That's why I'm late, and that's why I'm also after this I'm going to say bye to everybody because she has the flu, which I have
baby.
weeks ago, and she missed school for 3 days already.
Oh no.
And so she has it, but I'm gonna share to you Exora's experiences in the school. I just talked to her a while ago because she was also listening to Allison and to Michaela. She said hers is the other way around. She's a fifth grader here at Barton, and she said it's mine was harder than them because I can really tell because I am in the elementary school, so I can see her progress, and her teachers talks to me a lot of times, and every like in their reading class or in their English class, she has to write essays every week, and they have to do it in the classroom, and they're given prompts, and I mean, I've looked at Exora's work, and it's not something that you just cannot, you will not feel like amazed because the prompts were really like the one that they're using for the Atlas thing, because it's no longer ACT, right? It's already Atlas. And that they were doing since the start of the school year.
Wow.
And so they're writing essays every week, and I'm just so proud of Exora. She's even including her friends, and Helena in her essays, in her passages. Like she would include Jairi as her best friends. Beshi is Sir Mike's daughter. All of the kids in here in Helena, and so yeah, they're doing that every week. And in her math class, she has homework every week, and for her science class too, she has experiments all the time, and that's what they do. And especially that she's in GT right now, they would do coding experiments and all that. She can code things now, and I'm so happy. And I think they are into engineering right now. They're trying to make a blueprint of their own houses and that.
Nice.
So yeah, I think every school has a different type of setting when it comes to education. But at Barton, I can really tell it's more rigorous. Yeah, it is. And we don't have that lazy days where everybody's having like, oh, let's just do computers today because it's Friday or something like that. No, in Barton it should be um bell to bell instruction. And yeah, but and as a teacher, it is also like tiring for me, but at the same time it's very rewarding because knowing that if I'm doing that in my class, other teachers are doing it too, and so Exora is there, and so I'm happy that she's learning a lot of things.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
That's very good explanation. Les, because I have been to both schools, and you have summarized it correctly, I think. Well, especially the Exora is in the GT, or gifted and talented. So so that's even more so that she had to do more. So yeah, that's good to see the perspective of both sides,
Yeah.
But I'm just so glad, I'm proud that all the Filipino kids are really thriving and are
Yeah.
succeeding. Yeah, Exora is one of the top in her, if not the top in her school. And so that makes you as proud as Filipinos. They expect that, by the way. They expect that because we're Asian, our kids are supposed to be smart.
Yes, ma'am. They
Yeah.
are expecting that. And Exora is really excelling in reading and in English and science. But Mama Marisa's kids, both of them are excelling in math.
Yeah. Well, she's a math teacher too, yeah.
Yeah, and yesterday I was like, I have somebody in my classroom. I have Miss Unger in my classroom. I share a classroom with her, and she goes to Mama Marisa's son's classroom, and she was so proud because Christian was, I think, the only one who got the highest score for math, and they were talking about U.S. money.
Mm-hmm.
The dimes and the nickels and the pennies and the quarters and all that, and like there were bills too that were introduced, and he has to count all the monies that he has, and then so I think he got the highest score, and among all those kids, and he was
Nice.
he's not an American, so
Yeah, it's a good second grader. Yeah, nice.
yeah, he's a fourth grader.
A fourth grader, okay.
Yeah, but it was more complicated than a second grader. They were talking about, more bills, more coins to count. It was like more than 1,000 or something like that. And his teacher was really, really proud because he's like, "You're a Filipina and you did all of this. I'm just so proud of you." And so I'm just proud to share it to everybody.
Very good learner. Yeah. They're always bragging on your kids. So I know that, they're really doing well. And so this will be a good inspiration for the Filipino teachers that are coming, that are planning to bring your kids here. And just make sure that they're under 21 when you come here. If somebody is already getting to be 21, like, older, you need to get them first, because by the time they get 21, they can't be writing in your same application anymore. So just remember that the 21-year-old are not going to be able to come with you as a J2 H4, right, Les?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. And by the way, ma'am, I think because Michaela and Allison are in the high school, I think they're more of like a little bit let's say complacent or something like that, because in elementary I think it's more rigorous than in high school, because I was also a high school teacher last year. And well, the kids are they're very independent already, especially the American kids when they are in the high school. They just do things on their own, and I'm amazed of how they can do things on their own. And I think that's why they're thinking that because in the Philippines, teachers are more of like, leading the class. In here, it's more of like facilitating the classroom, and teachers in the Philippines are used to doing that. But in here, it's more of like the kids are doing the things that they need to do in the classroom, and all the teachers just have to facilitate in that.
Yeah, student-centered versus the teacher-centered.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and they believe in student-centered here. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And also, yeah, I also agree with Aton and Michaela that kids here do not do greetings like good morning, good afternoon, and all that. I was even surprised, one of my kids, when my superintendent came in, and my superintendent gave her a hug, and she was like, "Who are you? Why are you giving me a hug?" And then she was like very hostile to him, and the superintendent just laugh at it. And I'm like, that was our boss. And then she said, I thought Mr. Gerard was your boss, my principal. I'm like, no, he is also Mr. Gerard's boss. And she's like, okay, whatever. But she was a second grader. But yeah, they don't do that in here, and I think it's not a bad thing. It's a cultural thing. They have different culture. They are, and I think I like what we were doing back in the Philippines, being respectful and all that. But I think it has the thing that the kids are doing in here. I think it's also acceptable for me, because the class it will not get interrupted when somebody comes in. And I like it because in the Philippines, you have like 5 or more visitors during the day, and you have to like stop the class because the kids has to say, "Good morning, Dr. McCullough. Um, we are so glad that you are here today."
dear, that's
And then when
awful.
you leave the classroom, we have to stop the classroom because we have to say goodbye, Dr. McCullough. See you around. So it's kind of
Not good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It distracts
So
the flow.
yeah, yes, ma'am. But
Yeah.
yeah.
You could see the point, but you still want to teach them to respect, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but that flow thing, I really agree with
Mhm.
100%.
Yes,
And that's what
ma'am.
I feel about it. Like, oh no, don't let them stop. Yeah, when I first go to a teacher's classroom, they want to do that, and I'm like, no, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do that. Yeah. Well, anyway, I hope I was gonna check on you, Les, because I know you were not feeling well, and I forgot to. I just came home last night. You see, I was gone all week, so I
Oh, wow.
thought on the way here, you would have been asleep because you were not feeling well. So I thought I need to text her and check on her.
I didn't get to sleep early because I had to take care of Ixora.
Oh.
I'm feeling a lot better. But Ixora is I don't know, but I hope she can come back to school on Monday. But we will try our best, and I think I have to. I'm sorry that I came in late, and then I have to say bye
No
because
problem.
she has to take her medicines.
Yeah.
She haven't taken it. She have not taken it yet, and
Yeah.
then
Well,
I.
Les, do not force her to come back if she's not ready, okay? Because she needs to get well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I will not. I'm just and she did not. I mean, we cannot. I cannot miss school already because I missed 5 days 2 weeks ago. So and Junior cannot also miss work because he has to drive the bus, and if he's not around, a lot of the maintenance things that he is doing will be will not be done. So he has to really go to work. So Exora is like staying in his office the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that, well, that's kind of handy to know that dad and mom work in the same place. She has two
Yeah.
options of going. Yeah.
And it's so funny because her, Miss Tina Mora, or admin,
Secretary.
our admin secretary,
Mhm.
she was the one checking on her every day.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
Because
They're
Junior
good
has to go
people.
around the campus and drive the bus, and then Messina was like, Leslie, don't worry about Ixara. I'm checking on her every now and then. I'm like, thank you, man.
Oh, that's so cute. But anyway, you go take care of her, okay? And thank
Yes,
you
ma'am,
for,
and
yeah,
thank you
thank you for
so much.
stopping by.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to be, with you and all the teachers
Yeah.
that are in here. Sir Mike, thank you. Ate Betsy,
Welcome.
Girly,
Yeah.
Ate, and everybody. Bye, ma'am. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Bye-bye. We're about to go because on the regular group, because I have got to meet with the West Memphis group real quick. We're not gonna stay very long for the West Memphis. So everyone, and if you have last minute question for me, if you're not in the West Memphis group, 13 people, then I'm gonna say goodbye to you. And I really appreciate you coming back and talking to me and hopefully learning with me. And so I will be sending you the recording link on YouTube. And if you have not sent me your resume and the cover letter, please send it to me so I can include you in my list, because I constantly update it to send it to the administrators. So, and go to schoolspring.com and apply. Okay. All right. So I'll say bye-bye for now. Okay, bye. I should be left with about 13 people.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Doc. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you
It's
so
not
much,
being
Doc.
recorded. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, Doc.
Thank you,
Bye.
Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye. Yeah, we have a lot of people, close to
Bye.
40 people.
Yes
Okay.
po. I think
Bye.
we
Should
reached
be left
40
with the
plus. Yeah,
13.
41, 42, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mike, did you want to stay for our meeting with the West Memphis, or did you want to go?
Yes po, Doc.
You want to stay? Okay, you can
Yes,
stay.
okay po. Mhm.
Yeah, you can stay because I figured you might help them find their apartments when they come here.
Yes po. And Doc, we received an email that our school will implement again the mandatory of wearing of face mask.
Oh, yeah? When is that going to
Yes
start?
po.
When is that going
On
to start?
Monday.
Monday.
Yes po, on Monday. Yeah. Yeah, because the cases po sa school tumataas na ulit po.
Yeah, they said about in the whole state of Arkansas, about 10%, have been
Yes po.
absent because of the
Yeah,
flu.
I think last week we have 8 teachers who are positive with COVID.
COVID. Oh no, yeah.
Yeah,
not
and
good.
then I think some of the teachers, even though they have already they are positive, they are still going to school, and then they're wearing face masks and face shield.
Yeah, but that's still not good though. They should not go to school if they have COVID.
Yes
But
po, kaya nga po. Even nga po Ma'am Ana nagka-COVID.
oh, poor thing. And then now
And
she's
also
with you
Sir
guys.
Ernest po.
Yeah.
Yes po.
All right. Well, for those that are not in the West Memphis group, I really appreciate you for coming, but I'm going to say goodbye, Nice. And who else did we have here? So Nice, I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks, I hope. Flora, John Jefferson, you have to stay, and Fran, of course, stay. Giselle, stay. Girly, stay. April Lloyd, thanks for talking today. And I'm gonna say goodbye to you, okay? So see you later in 2 weeks. And Hindrena, Talandron, I did not get to hear from you this time, so maybe next time. So I will say bye because I have to talk to these folks that have been hired, so we can talk about
Ma'am, who's Ma'am Flora? Ma'am Flora?
Yeah, and Hindrena Talandron, if you don't mind to log
And
out.
Nice. Who is Nice?
Yeah, Nice need to also log off. So we should
I think Ma'am Giselle can remove them.
Can they? Okay, Miss Giselle, can you do that for me?
Okay po.
Franklin, yeah. Franklin and Flora.
I think they're Ma'am Flora, yeah. Ma'am Flora and yeah.
Who is missing? I know the two, Myrna and Joel, are they back?
Elmer po. Elmer Bananaw.
Okay, Elmer is not here and the couple's not here.
Yes, but I think Ma'am Mirna said that Sir Elmer is with them po.
Okay, that's it.
They're going to, ano po,
So these are
sasali
the
po
only
sila.
people then, right? We have 10 people here because 3 people are
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes po. Yeah, 13.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is give me back the being a host, Mike. I need to do that, I guess, because I want to
Si Ma'am Giselle
share.
po.
Huh?
Ma'am Giselle po.
Okay, Ma'am Giselle, can you give it back to me so that I could and I need to stop recording also. I do not need to have to
Yes.
cut it later. Okay, let me stop recording. Yeah, we do not need other people to hear what we're saying here on this one. Stop